Okay, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on so many levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Woo!
I am Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. This is going to be session 2 of our brand new Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse campaign using the Turn of Fortune's Wheel adventure. Our players tonight: Nobilis as Cuspid,
Hi there.
Millie Cady as Coracoid,
Hello.
Lee Burdett as Malleus,
Hey.
Paul Weimer as Tarsus,
Designation Tarsus. Role unknown. Current location unknown.
Jason Banks as Radius,
Greetings, everyone.
and David Archambault as Kneecap.
Where? What?
Yes, so our heroes, when last we left them, are still pretty confused. Turns out that waking up in a mortuary on an exam table, about to be autopsied, with amnesia, will, leave you a little bit disoriented. And so, after fighting and negotiating their way out of that mortuary basement, they emerged from a tunnel into a very strange place. The let's see, I'll reread the last bit of text we got at the end of the last session was: you emerge from the mortuary into a dilapidated city square. Stacks of jumbled tenements, grimy hodgepodges of lopsided architecture joined by rickety bridges, loom over the persistent low-hanging fog. An impossible city unfolds around you. Bladed buildings rise on all sides, the urban sprawl spreading along the inside of a gigantic torus. The metropolitan ring curves upward into passing clouds, disappearing behind the haze. And if you're looking at our title page, you can kind of see that behind the image of this imposing individual we see here. But you can see the curve of the torus rising up into the sky. This is the place where all of you have emerged. So, what would you like to do?
I will turn to my companions. Is this scene familiar?
No.
I mean,
Valley.
not this neighborhood.
You are aware of the urban location we are in?
Uh, being in a city feels familiar.
But not this particular city.
Well,
Radius looks utterly perplexed because it feels like something is afoot, like there's something wrong, like obviously wrong, but like not normal type of wrong. Like, I mean, he's something that's reborn. He's used to not normal, but this is not his type of not normal.
I think Malleus, if you look down, you'll see Malleus kind of on his butt, using his tail as ballast, trying to follow the Tarsus all the way up, and just kind of getting dizzy with it.
Yeah. Kneecap is gonna go over to Malleus and kind of poke his shoulder, and then hold up the keys that got from the side and say, another? Make another? And gonna pop up an image of a duplicate key.
ew.
Mm.
All of you have you hear the wooden creaking of what sounds like a cart or a wheelbarrow, and you glance over across this relatively empty square and see a droopy-eyed dwarf pushing a wheelbarrow that seems to have 3 or 4 corpses piled onto it, and he is rolling it over to what looks like some kind of a cellar entrance. And he has briefly stopped, and he is looking at you with a slightly a slightly puzzled expression.
Kneecap puts away the keys and then runs over. Say, bodies! Bodies!
Yep, that's
Me. Body!
what?
Me, body, down. Why?
What? Wait.
Excuse me. So have you seen us before?
You know, I was just thinking, did you all have each of you have like a brother or sister that passed recently?
Well,
No.
as far as we can tell, we were dead recently, all of us.
And now we're not.
Maybe.
Well, see, that would explain some things, but raise other questions to my mind.
So where did
Yeah.
you get us from?
You were dumped. So I collected you and
Where?
put you down the chute,
From
like
where?
I'm about to do with
where?
these.
What
Where were we
location did you?
dumped?
And he goes to there is in a slightly shadowy area that you didn't see before, there is someone who's standing in a little kiosk built into the wall, who presses a button and the cellar entrance opens, and the dwarf dumps his wheelbarrow load down, and he's kind of giving you all the side eye while he collects a few coins from the person in the booth, and then he just says, whatever y'all have got going on seems like none of my business, so I'll just be on my way if that's all right.
Negative. We require more information.
How about this? Show us where you found us before you brought us here. And maybe your next meal could be paid for with no problems.
Like, are you trying to talk your way around a bribe, like not just saying it out loud or something like that? Why are you saying it all weird and fancy like that?
Because I am weird and fancy like that.
How about instead of saying that, you can say, we will give you money if you tell us where you found us.
Because I am all fancy like that.
Okay, well,
Anyway,
yeah,
so we'll give you money if you show us where you found us.
let's see the money.
I'll pull out oh God, so you're trying to figure out how much would be a lot around here?
Kneecap holds up 3 gold.
They take it and they say, I found you in a pile of garbage about 3 blocks over.
Please
Where?
show us this location.
Where?
Sure.
Showing us the location is part of the prize.
No, I agree. I'm just, look, here's the thing. Before I walk you over there, I would like your agreement that once I have done that, then I'm done and I can leave with my gold. Because I don't think you're going to find anything interesting there, and I don't want to be on the hook for showing you the wrong place or something.
No, as long as you truthfully show us where you found us, you can go on your way.
Also, where do you found us in a pile of garbage? Was this a normal pile you check? Is it always there?
Oh yeah,
or-
it's a good spot.
For dumping bodies.
Yeah, well, collecting bodies in my case.
Dumping bodies for others. I see.
Is this recognized as a normal place to dump bodies?
Like, recognized by who? Like, I am a person who recognizes good places to dump bodies, and so in that case, yes.
Okay.
But like it's not like the you know the factoral of the mercy killers knows and has a little pin in his map or something. So I mean, I'm gonna
Yeah.
like I'll if you walk with me, I'll show you a pile. And
You- Did you say mercy killers?
oh yeah,
Yep.
Kneecap is impatient and picks up the wheelbarrow to help move
oh
it.
okay, whoa, no, okay, now let's see, it's got wheels on it, young fella. It's no need to pick it up.
He's slightly
No.
impatient.
Yeah. Let's walk and talk.
Okay, all right. So we're walking,
What,
and
what is your designation?
they're pushing the cart along. Uh,
Name. He means name.
Joe.
Inside
you.
check.
Joe.
So
Go ahead, roll
Think
it.
you really need
I
one?
don't. We don't actually need to make that an inside check.
I mean, feel free. You'll have to wonder otherwise.
so Joe, it seems that collecting bodies and doing things with bodies that are dumped in places seems to be some sort of job or industry here.
Did you not just watch me deposit the bodies in the chute and get coin for it?
Affirmative.
So who are you performing this action for? Like, who says, "Hey, get these bodies, we'll give you gold"?
We just left there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just
No, but
left
no.
there.
But I mean, like,
I am what you might call self-employed,
Mhm.
I do
an
believe
entrepreneur, you might say.
I'm trying to figure out who the actual boss is. It seems like there's some sort of hierarchy, but we've not seen the upper echelons of it that could move
We
us
absolutely
around.
Yeah.
did.
We
I
absolutely
believe
did, and
our-
we killed them.
Yeah.
I
We
believe
follow
our
it past,
former
well, except for the record
hosts-
keeper person.
So
Yeah.
yes, to be
and-
clear, yes, what happens is that I am paid by the Heralds of Dust, who run the what's it? The big
Mortuary.
place where they have the mortuary. Yeah, that's it. The big thing that looks like a giant mushroom over us. And I'm going to actually show you a handout. That this is not the angle that you are currently seeing it at, but you should all have a handout now called mortuary.
Oh,
And
wow.
so basically, you are at street level around here.
Yeah.
That's funky.
Huh.
So yes.
The-
So the Heralds of Dust run the mortuary, and they pay people to collect the bodies and bring them in for treatment and funerary rites and whatever else they do in there. I'm not nosy about it, but I got a strong stomach and a need for coin, so here I am.
All right.
And here we are. And he brings you around a corner. And sure enough, there is kind of just a blind alley, and there's a lot of garbage kind of piled up. And it looks like it has been rooted through many times. Like you can see that there's garbage that looks very old, but it's been kind of like moved around and put in different piles. And he's kind of looking past it like, yeah, well, I didn't expect there to be any new ones there yet. I only just checked there not long ago, after all. By the way, like, what's your deal? Like, how come you're like
Alive?
the Heralds of Dust are not big on like bringing people back from the dead. That's kind of like the opposite of their deal.
They didn't
Yeah.
expect it either. Neither
Yeah.
did
No, and
we.
Yeah.
several of them had an argument with us over that topic.
Whoa, okay. I need to be, I'm going to be on my way. I'm not here to be aiding and abetting anyone who's in a fight with the people who pay my tab at the bar. So I'm on my way. Good luck to y'all. And he's like hurrying away with his wheelbarrow.
All right.
So-
So
Definitely
that-
do mark off that 3 gold you gave him.
already did. Yeah. The minute he
Yeah.
indicated that this
Oh,
was
sure.
the
I'm just saying,
place.
do keep track.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The moment he indicated that this was the place, Kneecap just kind of dove in and just started searching and
All right. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh
oh,
God.
Con save 25.
What did
oh,
you say? 25?
Yes.
Okay, well, I think that you are managing just fine. So well, in fact, that perhaps you ought to look into the exciting career opportunities presented by corpse collecting. Because it seems like you've got the constitution for it. You are currently rooting around and digging through and crawling through garbage, some of it fresh, some of it probably years old. And this is the garbage generated by the bad part of town in a city that caters to individuals from every plane known in existence. So it's pretty gross.
Basically, Kneecap is wanting to see if there's any signs of
Mhm.
anything about any of us.
I would let you roll, except I'm going to go ahead and just say that feel free to look all you like. You're not going to find anything.
Okay.
You do, however, as you are. So what's everyone else doing while you watch Kneecap defile themselves in this way?
This seems
first,
tremendously unsanitary.
Affirmative.
I don't.
um,
I don't know.
They're
I'm
I'm
they're
going
going.
to be very.
digging
We
through it.
are
They're
all
creating
going
a
to be
smell
very.
too.
We are going to
Yeah.
be all very glad I know prestidigitation.
Yes. We are also all going to be very glad that he's my height.
I'm glad I don't breathe.
Affirmative.
um, yeah. Well, I'm going to basically start. Well, I'll wait for them to be done
Mhm.
before I clean them up.
Yes.
And like just kind of start looking around, like
All right.
the
So
alleyway in general to see if there's any.
I think
Yeah.
we may have taken this investigation as far as we can, at least for now. And I think what I don't know about you folks, but I could really use like a bed and a meal. And I noticed that some of you have funds. And so I'm going to hang around until one of you guys gets hungry, and maybe you'll feed me as well for the service of having helped you
Yeah,
to win free of the mortuary.
we
How does
can.
Yeah.
that sound?
He's
We,
he was a
By the
very
way,
what's the word I'm looking for? Honest grave collector in the fact that he did not evidently go rooting around in our pockets before he dumped us down the chute.
Well, that's fortunate.
true.
Yes.
Another thing, like, is there
All
anything
favors.
valuable or interesting that happens to be in here?
Mm.
Maybe like do a roll just for like a luck.
Valuable, I would say no. Interesting, that's subjective, isn't it?
Yes.
How about this? Go ahead and roll investigation, and we can. I'll pull up a
Sure.
trinkets table.
Ooh, 19. Wow.
Okay, that's pretty good. So give me
Yeah.
just a moment.
Yeah. By the way, that con save I did was a natural 19.
Oh
and
sure,
have-
Yeah,
I
no,
trust
no.
you. You're a barbarian. You've got constitution. Let's see. Where is?
And that whole cobalt thing means you've got a pretty decent.
Roll twice on percentile dice.
percentile.
Yeah. No. Malleus is the kobold.
Oh,
Kneecap
sorry.
is the gnome.
Oh, okay. Wait, sorry.
70
Oh, that's right. Red hair
and
Yep.
to go with the fire bits.
50.
Okay, 70 and 50.
Yep.
Well, shoot, I was gonna use one. trinket table, and then I changed my mind. I'm going to use a different one. And then I changed my mind again. Okay, 70 and 50. You find, while rooting through all this garbage, a whistle made from gold-colored wood.
Ooh.
And you find a small packet filled with pink dust. I would
Your
not put
prestidigitation
either of
spell
those
might
in your
be
mouth at this
useful.
time.
Yeah, Kneecap kind of just uh, tumbles out and holding whistle in one hand, little bag in the other, and just
And I immediately
clue.
cast prestidigitation to clean all of it up.
Okay. I think it would take a little bit because, you can only
That-
get, yeah. But
That's okay. I
that's
will
so-
keep doing it.
I'm sure everyone
Yeah.
else will be patient with that activity. It seems value added to the group's priorities at this
Kneecap,
time.
as you do that, Kneecap kind of, oh, kind of does like a little someone's bathing in kind of movements, like.
So at about this time, you see suddenly running across the place where the dead end alley joins the other street. You see a rat running across and in towards towards where all of you are. But this is not an ordinary rat. This rat has an overlarge head, and even within its head, it has very obvious brain sticking out from its skull, and so the brain is much larger than on a standard rat, and it's actually glowing a little bit. But this rat is running towards you into this alley, and it is pursued by two very out of breath Githzerai, who seem to be wearing rat catcher uniforms. And they are running towards you. They're wearing pink skull caps and uniforms, and one of them shouts at all of you, "Get him!"
Enoch is gonna dive
Okay.
on
Kneecap?
Was that
Yeah.
purposeful?
We heard you said Dionox, so I just
or sorry,
Yeah.
Kneecap.
Well, I didn't know if you were playing with.
Yep.
Kneecap is
That's
gonna dive on the rat.
Okay. So go ahead and make this. Are you? Is this a grapple check? Is that what you're trying to do?
Sure.
All right. Well, then go ahead and roll athletics.
Oh, that's a 15.
Okay. So I believe they get to roll. Let's see. They're going to roll dexterity.
Yeah.
And they got a 19, so it
Oh, wow.
jumps out of the way of your attempted grapple. And before any of the rest of you have the opportunity to react in any way, you suddenly all feel a jolt down to your very core, and your vision distorts. Suddenly, it feels as though reality has fractured around you. And as you look around, it's as though you are looking through a broken mirror with the different shards and different facets, each of them displaying something else different. Each fragment, like the facets of a gem, show you visions. You see an adventuring party looking up at a dark Gothic castle. You see an ancient floating city now trapped beneath the ice. You see a city curled around an enormous diamond floating in a silver void. Some facets, though, show you yourselves. In one, you see the room where you woke up not long ago, but each of you still lying on a slab, clearly dead. In yet another facet, you see what would initially seem like a reflection of you now, except on closer inspection, you see that each of you is different in some profound way. How are each of you different in this other version of yourself?
For Tarsus, he's not dressed as a ranger. He's dressed basically as a cleric carrying a mace, and clearly has been clearly is in cleric mode rather than in ranger mode. Same eyes, but different weaponry, and definitely he's also feels a little heavier, like he's on a heavier armor mode than he is currently now.
Feel free to use the question, the
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
big decision question that
Yeah,
you did.
that's kind of figure
Yeah.
where you're going with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think Malleus sees himself in the robes and scraps of armor that his clan wears in their homestead. He doesn't have any of his supplies, any of his tools. There's no hint of magic about him. He's just plain, ordinary kobold. Dull scales, cracked teeth.
Cuspid sees herself um, much smaller, skinnier, half starved, um, huddled on in an alley. Um,
Well, so the image you're
alone.
seeing of yourself is you're looking at an adventuring party that matches your
Oh.
current one, except that each of you look different. Now you could
Oh,
still be like,
okay.
skinnier, smaller, like all
Okay,
of that.
okay,
I'm just
okay.
saying.
If it's an adventuring party, then I've got an idea.
Okay.
Okay.
She is following behind them with a huge backpack bearing her down. She's unarmed and clearly just carrying stuff for them.
A hireling.
Yeah.
um, basically
Oh, you're
everything.
muted, Jason.
Oh crap.
Go ahead, Jason.
I was gonna say, Radius is still dealing in magics, but they're dark magics. In fact, he has a couple undead with him. And as much as he looks undead now, it is obvious that he is undead there, fully and completely, with minions about.
I think Cora, like everything that of right now that about her that radiates like light and celestial energy is exact opposite. Like tiefling, obsidian skin, horns, um, and instead of like the instruments and such, she's got like a really wicked looking long sword and um yeah, I think I'll go with that.
All right.
Yeah.
Kneecap is Kneecap sees a face very similar to his current one, but more delicate and narrow, and you know, facial hair, and but otherwise very similar.
All right. So you each notice the differences as you look through this strange fractured visage at an image of what looks like a parallel adventuring party, which is looking back at you with likewise surprised expressions. And then in many of the other fragments, you see flashes of images that feel familiar but maddeningly elusive. A parade of countless spherical mechanical creatures, a fox faced woman in an elegant gown, a beholder the size of a mountain,
Oh my.
a richly appointed room with various figures trapped in crystal prisons. And then all at once you are back where you were. Everyone make a wisdom saving throw and a dexterity saving throw.
Wisdom and dexterity.
Yeah.
Um, that's not bad.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Oof.
I,
Oof. Oof.
Okay.
So,
I did well. The one I didn't think I was going to do well. I did
Mm.
terrible. The one I should have done well.
so
Wisdom 13, Dex 19.
sure. So basically, what I'll just say is for the wisdom saving throw, if you didn't beat a 12, then you're going to take 10 points of psychic damage.
Oof.
Ouch. I'm
Um,
glad we had that short rest.
Yes, and if you didn't beat a DC 12 for the dexterity saving throw, you fall on your butt.
Bonk.
Okay.
Okay. So I have resistance to psychic damage.
Sure,
So I
so-
would take 6.
Well, I said
5.
10, so you would take 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 damage, and yeah, he's on his butt.
And
Yeah.
if you succeed, you take no damage.
Correct.
All right, that
a-
was one
and-
hell of an
and-
instant headache.
Yeah, and so you notice too, though, that these two Gitzerai are also on their butts, and they are looking at you all with wide-eyed horror. At which point they scramble to their feet and bolt, trying to get away from you as fast as they can. And I think briefly you also see this cranium rat looking at you, regarding you briefly from within a tiny hole in one of the bottoms of this wall, and it regards you briefly before disappearing into the darkness.
Kneecap, I'm going to be doing that a lot.
Well, you know.
Kneecap goes to that hole and says, wait, wait, wait.
Yeah? Want to make an animal handling check?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I don't actually have a spell that can help here.
Oh, only
Um,
a
What'd you say it was?
7.
Yeah, I think that rat's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we shall call him Mojo Jojo.
Jojo?
Jojo the rat.
Jojo.
Okay.
Well,
So that happened.
Yeah.
yeah, that happened, and they ran from us for some reason. So,
Yeah.
Well, they were on their butts too, so whatever it was that hit you seems to be they were affected too, except they seemed to look at you as though they thought you all did something scary.
Instead of the rat.
And even the rat.
Okay.
I mean, they were chasing the rat. They
Yeah.
were already after the rat. They looked like rat catchers.
Okay.
Cuspid.
Yes.
It occurs to me that perhaps if we went to a local place to eat and sleep, they may know of our prior existence here.
It seems reasonable to me. And ordinarily that would be a reason not to do it, but I think we'll do it anyways.
Yes.
So let's look around. Let's see if we can find someplace public.
Sure. So,
Because those gentlemen certainly didn't seem friendly enough to talk to.
no.
Yeah.
Negative.
So right now, from where you are, you can look up and see the upper platforms of the mortuary around you. You also, you are in a relatively empty sort of alley area, but you do hear, activity not too far away, in various directions. There's other sorts of big building landscapes that seem to be in the distance along the curve of this very bizarre city. What would be your strategy here as you look for someplace to go?
Well, I think just like if there's a direction where it sounds like there's a number of people ahead that way.
Yeah. All right. So I think that makes sense. And so you are making your way in the direction of the sounds of people, sounds of activity, and you emerge into a square where you see that there's definitely people milling around doing their business. You see beings of all different manners and sorts, and not just humanoids at all. You see what look like devils and demons and celestials and strange, fantastical, monstrous creatures. A giant lumbers by. It is a menagerie of individuals who all seem to just be going about their business. And as you are briefly overwhelmed, who was kind of leading the way?
I think Cuspid would be leading the way.
Okay.
And
Well,
yeah,
Confidently
mhm.
finding her way. I do have the feature from my urchin background.
Mhm.
Where is it?
I think I know the one you mean. You can get
Yeah.
through places more quickly and that sort of thing.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
right
So
now you are disoriented enough that it's probably not fully active. However, it is certainly, I think you have a knack for, I think this way is going to have more people, right?
yeah.
So I think it
Hmm.
makes sense that you would lead the way in that regard. But
Yeah.
as you're
That's
kind of out front, emerging into this busier square, an irritable tiefling bumps into you and immediately flustered, and they turn to shout at you. They say, "Take a short stick and pike it, you leather-headed Burke, or else I'll put your name in the dead book. I swear more and more of you clueless wind up in the cage every day. Quit flapping your bone boxes and go back to your own burgs."
have a nice day, and you go past him.
And yeah, so they're actually looking like they're gonna demand some more intimidated body language from you. But at this point, a Barrier Wanderer, and this is a. I'm going to show you all an image now. This is Parisa, the Barrier Tout, that I've just shared. This is
Okay.
it's like a centaur, except they have the bottom is a goat instead of horse.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so she like trots up, clap her hooves clopping along the cobblestones, and she has like a wand of some kind that she is doing a shooing motion of this tiefling and just saying, "Oh, piss off, you, piss off! Come on, leave them alone." Hello.
Greeting.
Hello.
hi.
It's daunting,
Greeting.
isn't it? The sudden feeling that everything and everywhere are now at your fingertips.
I have no
Mm,
feelings.
First time in Sigil?
Place.
Yes.
Yeah.
let's go with that. Yes.
Yeah. Don't worry, I won't lead you astray. I am what you might call a tout. That means what I do is I find those poor souls who are finding themselves overwhelmed in this incredible city, and I help you out. I guide you to anywhere you might want to go, give you ideas where you might want to go, and I do all of this fine service for them. The eensy weensy little price of 3 gold pieces a day. What do you say?
I look to the rest of the group because I don't have any money on me.
Yeah. Malleus will fish out 3 gold pieces and say, "Your assistance would be much appreciated. Thank you so much."
Well, how about this? I am absolutely eager to get started. And so, what I would like to ask all of you first, right now, is what would you like to do first? Would you like something to eat? Somewhere to rest? Are you looking for some place in particular? Tell me and I'll help you out.
Food.
Food?
Food and
Oh.
rest would be good, and then
Mhm.
I think after that information.
Mhm,
And yes, and food, rest, then information.
mhm. So,
Place where we can
Affirmative.
this
hear
city
local.
has remarkable variety of cuisine, as you might guess. There are going to be a lot fancier places that might be a little further, but if you're looking for something just simple and quick, we got nearby. What are you in the fancy? What's your fancy?
Simple and quick sounds, and simple sounds good.
All right. Well, I think. Hold on just a moment. Let me, did I not? Sorry, I apparently have closed one of the tabs that I thought that I still had open, but I'm going to reopen it now. She says, no worries. I know just a place. It's actually going to be a place that might take care of a couple of your needs. It's a place called the Ubiquitous Wanderer. It's a fine tavern. I think you'll find it meets your needs. And certainly, once we get started there, if you find you're in the mood for something a little more adventurous, we can find that next. But for now, follow me to the Ubiquitous Wanderer.
All
All
right,
right, we'll
and
follow her.
follow her
Excellent.
we
Yep.
Affirmative.
shall.
All right.
And
Kneecap
we're
is
walking.
yeah, Kneecap is staying right next to her, almost under hoof, and just
Hmm.
looking very confused up at her.
Yeah. Let's see. Where was it? I have. I, I, I had all of this. That was all set, and now where? So in any case, yes, she. I'm sorry. I will need just a moment, if you would, if we after these
No
messages.
worries.
Uh,
Ah, technical difficulties. We have something for that.
Yeah. Uh, I actually should have said the ubiquitous wayfarer. That is actually what I said. You misheard me.
Affirmative.
But so they lead you through the streets, and they seem very adept at weaving through the various crowds of strange individuals that you see. And she's talking about, it's like, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get you out of the hive ward. The hive ward is a little, it's a tad dark and aggressive. It's not usually where I recommend newcomers start their sigil experience, but you know what? Everybody's got to start somewhere, so don't feel like you've missed out on some other experience, because here we are now. We can do anything you like, but we're going to head over to the lower ward where the ubiquitous wayfarer is going to help you out. And so before too long, you're walking along these streets, and you pass. You get to some streets that seem to be like bigger and more more trafficked. You see strange onion-shaped carriages being pulled by unicorns. You see people in like sedan chairs being carried on the backs of ogres lumbering down the street, and just all sorts of people doing any which way sorts of things. And I'm going to actually give you another handout.
You all see when you pass by a fiend that Tarsus tenses and stops for a moment and stares at the fiend,
Mhm.
and then continues on.
And I think as you do that, Parisa is going to tap you on the shoulder, says, "Not nice to stare now. Not unless you want in trouble."
Potential enemy detected is all he says, and then he continues walking.
All right, I'm going to advise you maybe turn down the sensitivity of that enemy detector a little bit, because he wasn't doing nothing but walking by.
Understood.
I think up on like an elevated platform above the street, you watch as an orc in like wizard looking robes emerges from what looks like a hole in space that is howling with wind, and tentacles emerging from it, and he turns and casts some elaborate spell and closes that portal. And I'm giving you a handout now showing this. This is Lower Ward.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that
This
is
is
just
amazing.
like that's just up on an elevated walkway above the street you're passing on, and Parisa
Yeah.
pays it no particular attention.
Yeah.
But then you eventually do make your way through to what looks like a pretty simple, as far as these buildings in this city go, 3-story tavern. You see that the main entrance is welcoming. There's some gentle music inside, and you see a lot of people just sitting at tables or standing at the bar, and Parisa just welcomes you on in and says, "Now let's see. Here, look right there. I think is a good table for you. I can get you all started with a round first with the bartender. So, what would you like to start with? Got you all drink, beer or something a little more special, or what do you think? We could do water too, I suppose, if you."
Oh, I never drink water. Fish function in it.
It's true they do.
All
Uh,
day.
Uh,
wine,
so
please.
yes, whatever. I mean, I'm not buying, so
Hmm.
Yeah.
talk to them.
that's-
A
How about a
nice.
couple of bottles of wine for the table? We'll start there and figure out what next.
Affirmative.
All right. So she leaves you at the table, and certainly you have just a moment where you're just looking around, and this tavern is populated by just as much, diversity. You see what looks like a planetar, very powerful celestial, sitting with a spine devil at the same table, and they are leaning over the table at each other, staring in each other's eyes like they're on a first date or something.
Oh.
Yeah, you see, there is a table of people look like they're playing cards, except it is it looks like a slod and a gith and a tiefling and a gelatinous cube are playing.
How
I
does a
bet the
tick-
gelatinous cube has the best poker face.
Yeah.
If you couldn't see right through him.
Yeah, see, there you go. I was gonna give that joke to Parisa, but you beat her to it.
Now-
how are the chairs situated for those of a shorter stature?
Well, so I think that you find that the chairs are sort of optimized for medium-sized creatures. However, there are against the walls in several places. There's little like boxes that look like they're designed to just be an extra like little booster.
And there's probably
Yeah.
also a couple
Yeah.
of oversized chairs around as
Well,
well.
you definitely see some larger creatures who are not using chairs at all.
Yeah.
Kneecap kind of stands on the chair, looks around, gets up on the table, gets a good look, tries to get a good look at the crowd, sees one of the boxes, goes over and grabs it, and sits normally.
Yeah. Yeah. Malleus will follow because he couldn't see what it was that once he got the box, Malleus would have gotten his own.
I think Kneecap actually would have gotten two because he knew.
Oh,
he
okay.
knew it.
Yeah. Short dude bros.
All right. So
And
Gotta
he
stick
then
together.
pulled up fist for fist bump.
Fist bump. Solidarity.
So Parisa comes back over. She's got like little saddlebags over her goat hips. And she has got a bottle of wine in each, and in her hand she's holding a like a platter that has 7 like goblets and a bowl full of strange brown things that look crunchy.
Oh, okay.
Looks at it all hungrily.
Yeah.
Yes, the,
All right.
the Constitution specialist can make sure that we're it's less likely that we're going to get sick.
Radius just kind of looks down at the brown crunchy things, looks all at you and says, "Enjoy." And now that we're sitting here and we've got a moment to
Mhm.
spare, can I make an Arcana check to see if I recognize what that spellcaster was doing as we walked in?
Sure.
23.
23 is pretty good. I think you don't necessarily know the spell exactly, but it seems very clear to you that what happened was there was a portal that opened up to a place that looks pretty nasty. With a 23, you guess that it might actually be the lower plane of pandemonium that they were emerging from, but the spell that they cast clearly reclosed the portal that they had just emerged from.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So they seemed to cast a spell that just did exactly that, closed the portal.
Ah. I want to look at our friend, our lovely, lovely, helpful friend, and ask them, so do people do do they cast magic like that all the time here?
Oh well, yeah, certainly. Those with the know-how or the juice, sure.
Yeah. Could you give us just a basic rundown? How does this town operate?
Um,
I think you called it sigil.
Sure.
Just like who's in
Yeah,
charge?
yeah.
What are the different districts?
Wow, you really are all
Yes.
new, huh?
yeah.
Affirmative.
As far as we're concerned, we were born about 2 hours ago.
Well, so how about this? I like to tailor my services to the needs of my specific individual customers. So now that we've embarked on this adventure together, how about some introductions? I've said,
Yes.
as I mentioned, I'm Parisa, and you are?
Malleus. Yep, Kneecap. That's Kneecap. I'm Malleus.
Caspid!
Yes.
I'm Cora, and wave over to the next.
Designation Tarsus.
Wow. So y'all got a theme going. I don't know. Cora, is Cora a bone too?
Yes.
Full name is Coracoid.
Oh, I guess I don't know that bone either, but I'll take your word for it. You know what? That's kind of fun.
Yes.
It's lovely to meet you all. So since you're so new in town and you really don't seem like you were trying to get here, accidental portal? What happened here?
Woke up in the mortuary.
All right.
Somehow.
With no real with no real memory, like an idea of our name, a little idea of what we can do.
Radius just sees the look on her face and says, I don't like that look. I'm assuming
yes.
you've never heard of such an origin story here.
Well, so here's the thing about Sigil is no, I've not heard that one specifically, but also it's the sort of place where things like that do happen. Like I haven't like I'm surprised, but not like shocked.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay.
So it's
Yes.
it's not strange that something this weird happened. It's just strange that this particular thing happened.
I guess let me put it this way. I've never heard of that happening before, but this is a city where lots of strange things happen all the time.
So okay.
So on that note, Sigil, sometimes lovingly referred to as the City of Doors, sometimes loathingly referred to as the Cage, is pretty much the center of the multiverse. Every plane you've ever heard of, every dimension you've ever heard of, every world you've ever heard of, kind of all connect right here. It's a pretty cool place to live if you ask me, but it is chaotic and it can be confusing. So that's why touts have such a good business. So let me, you know what? This will help. And she reaches back into her saddlebag. She's poured everyone some wine. Has anyone tried the wine or the?
Oh,
Sure.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely sipped the wine first, waiting for someone else to try the crunchy things.
Kneecap just grabbed a crunchy thing and
Yeah.
shoved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
it's,
it Is it like crispy hot critter like crickets, or is it more like peanuts?
I think that
Or-
I think probably roasted peanuts is going to be your closest analog. Like they
Okay.
don't look familiar exactly, but they're a lot along those lines.
Okay.
And the wine I think is like it's cheap wine, but it's drinkable. It's not bad.
Yeah. So
I
uh,
mean,
Kneecap
Cosbit doesn't know.
Yeah.
will eat some of the thing and then say yum and eat another one.
Right. But so she reaches back into her little saddlebag and she unfolds a map.
Yay!
Yay, a map!
Yay!
And now I will put you all on the map of Sigil.
Backpack.
Now, one of the funny things about a torus is that if you make a rectangular map where if you cross off the top, you come on the bottom, you cross off the left and you come on the right, that's a torus. So basically, every video game from before 1990 takes
Was a
place
torus.
in a shape the same as
Yeah. So,
same as Sigil.
So you should all be seeing the Sigil poster map now, correct?
Yes.
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 So, as just mentioned, these two halves, the top half and the bottom half, are like the opposing sides of the ring. So basically, if you went off the right side of the top half, you would enter on the left side of the bottom half. And,
Okay.
and then vice versa. And so she, you know what? I don't like that they have all the labels just automatically set to, I wish that they didn't have all the labels set to be turned off. So I have turned them on. And so she points out, we are right here in the ubiquitous Wayfarer, although you'll find sometimes that it's not there. It's in other places. It has a bunch of portals in it. And so there's actually lots of people will think it's in other places because they go through a door that seems like a door to them, but it's actually a portal to here. And then they go back through the same door. And they come out in the Hive district or whatever. So people think it's all over the place, but here's where it is on the map, so like that's where we are right now. But as you can see, and she's pointing, the mortuary is right here. It's like, that's where we just came from. You see, we're just near the Great Foundry right now. That's why it's so smoky outside. But yeah, see, the splendor of the city of doors awaits you. Oh, by the way, as I'll mention, we've got the food here, but you can also rent rooms upstairs. There, I believe, I think 2 gold a night per room.
Good to know. Well, arrange for a room.
All right,
or, or 2. I don't think people would mind bunking up with each other.
So
Definitely
used to
have
it.
to.
you've got the services of an expert tout at your beck and call. You've got a map. Tell me how I can help you.
Know of any memory specialists?
Memory specialists.
Since
Well,
we don't remember how
affirmative.
we got here, it'd be nice to see if someone could help us remember what we were doing. And maybe
Well, the healers, they have a lot of healers. The Bleakers have a lot of healers over in the Gatehouse. If you're looking for that type of memory. But then, of course, if you were looking for like paper memory, that sort of thing, you'd probably head out over to the High Courts with the Hall of Records.
Kneecap will look at Radius and say, words for book.
All right.
lots of
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, Hall of Records is going to be where you're going to have a lot of books. Well, I guess they don't have quite so many as they used to. The Hall of Information might be actually where you go now, because the Hardheads took over the Hall of Records, and technically the library's still there. You can still get the records, but they
Hardheads?
closed it. Oh, yeah. You know what? I keep using all sorts of slang. So you're going to find that's pretty common around here. So immersion is the best solution. But yes, so there are a lot of different factions in charge of Sigil. Like the Lady of Pain is, in charge over everything, but she's pretty hands off as far as the day to day stuff is going on. And boy, let me tell you, if you see her, you'll know, and don't get in her way. Let me just be really clear. She is like the one that kicks the gods out when they're unruly.
Kicks the gods out.
Oh, yeah. It's actually one of the places that keeps this city operational. Otherwise, you'd get, deity level beings coming in here and trying to take over or whatever. But in any case, so you probably are not going to have any reason to ever talk to her, so best avoid her. If you must gaze upon her from a distance, do not do it in a worshipful way. She doesn't like that.
She is not a god.
Well, what's a god?
I do not know.
I
Yeah.
question: does anything in on this map look similar to anything in the vision we had?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I was going to say not especially. I mean,
Oh.
it is a map, not a photo, right? So
Right.
and
Right.
it's high level.
Right.
I will say I have another handout of the Great Foundry just because you're nearby there, so you probably would have been able to see it up in the distance.
Mhm.
So I'll give you that one too, just because
Oh,
a lot of
my.
these artworks are
Wow.
really cool,
These
Oh,
visuals
wow.
are amazing.
right?
Yeah. I mean, like props. Oh, as always, props to the artists who
Yes.
who do
Mhm,
this. It's
Um,
absolutely fabulous.
And I'll note that we're using the Turn of Fortune's Wheel module in Roll20, but some of these artworks are coming from the Sigil and the Outlands book, which is not technically part of the module, but I imported them. In any case, so you're you don't necessarily see anything familiar on the on the map in that way. But she says, so because the Lady of Pain, like I said, hands off. She basically lets people do what they're going to do as long as they keep things ticking along, more or less. But you got a lot of different groups that kind of divide themselves along ideological lines for the most part. So you've got the Athars who think, like all the gods are a lie. You've got the Sensates who think everything's just about being in the moment and feeling things. You've got the Hands of Havoc that just want to, like, reek. That's why we call them reekers.
Havoc.
Yeah, exactly. You got you got all the different factions, and they've kind of taken over various different parts of the city functioning. Like you got the Heralds of Dust. They think everybody's dead. Which you know what? Who's to tell them they're wrong, right? But whatever. They run the mortuary, where I gather you probably met some of them.
Affirmative.
Yes. Yep.
Well, so in any case, that's where they are. As I mentioned, the Hardheads, let's see, they run the Hall of Records, and I will be able to tell you more about them just as soon as I search through my memory banks. Let's see. The Hardheads are what they call themselves the Harmonium. And their whole deal is that they think that the universe and everything will be in perfect harmony when everyone is in harmony, and there will be perfect peace and everything. And it's the sort of thing like, everybody has to be peaceful or else. And they're willing to put weapons behind that or else. And so, like they headquarter in the barracks. I was trying to guess. So they headquarter in the barracks and pointing out those. And so let's see. It was actually. Sorry, I'm saying some of this stuff. Please forgive me that occasionally Christiana is not knowing things as well as.
Yep.
No worries.
Yeah. So where?
No worries. So
so I was misremembering. The Hardheads are actually in the barracks, not the
Not the
Hall of Records. With the Hall of Records. Hall of Records is the fated, the takers, and so like that's actually makes more sense anyway because their whole deal is basically like, you know how people say like possession is 9/10 of the law, and then they use that to basically say if I take it then I have it, and so therefore it's mine. Um,
Affirmative.
that's basically their deal. Like obviously they could explain it in a more complicated way, but they liked that Hall of Records and they took it, and now it's theirs.
Teresa, are you a member of a
Oh.
faction?
Well, I try to steer clear of all of that, really. I don't know what's going on, really. It's, I think my personal feelings on this whole thing is that strong opinions get you into trouble. So I kind of just like freelance. That's why, here I am doing my own thing, working as a tout, making new friends.
So, if one was to need, say, employment,
Hmm.
and that is not digging for bodies, what would that be?
Well, I mean, obviously, there's all sorts of different opportunities out there. People do all sorts of things. Lots of the different factions are hiring, and usually it's the sort of thing where, as long as you're willing to walk the party line, you don't necessarily have to believe it in your heart. Like so they can get jobs that way. But like they're always recruiting because they're kind of jockeying for position against each other. But it's a city, so there's trade and sanitation and security and record keeping and administration and all of that stuff. So like this, you could find a job doing just about whatever, I would imagine.
Hmm.
What are your skills?
Well,
Well,
we
Um,
fought our way out of the
Usually when I
mortuary
ask that
pretty
question,
well.
I don't see 6 blank faces.
We fought our way out of the mortuary pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay,
mm,
okay.
So,
Yeah. Kneecap holds up his file and says, Kneecap.
Well, here's the thing. I look at a lot of you, what I see as adventurers. Tell me if I'm wrong.
yes.
Sure.
Affirmative.
Here's
gut
my
feeling,
gut.
yes.
Well, okay, like
I'm pretty
adventurers
certain.
are definitely a thing. You
Yes.
just walk around and people pay you to do whatever.
Yeah.
Is there like a guild of some sort, or
Not as such. I mean, it's more like everyone's kind of just either working for a faction or you're freelance.
Hmm.
so if you're freelance, where do you go to find work? Who would you talk to? A tout?
Well,
Or
I mean that's one way. So like I could help you find a few opportunities if you're looking.
Hmm.
because we're definitely going to need to
Yes.
earn money while we're figuring out everything else.
Well, most of us, anyways.
At least
Well,
for basics.
well,
It is hard to live in the city without money.
Affirmative.
right. And in a city this big, there's probably no end to people with goals willing to give it up if people are willing to do things for it. So,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So just as a general question, can you tell us about like the Great Gymnasium, the Great Bazaar? What are those?
Oh, sure. Well, the Great Gymnasium is headquarters of the Transcendent Order, and their whole deal is that like they think that mind and body need to be unified, and so like you have to like for them the absolute ideal is if you have trained your mind and your body to work in such concert that you're able to act on pure instinct at all times. And a big part of their whole thing is they think that most people, what they neglect is the physicality. And so that's why they run the gymnasium. And so lots of sports happen there. There's lots of training facilities, sparring grounds. There's also people who just go there to bet or to exercise or whatever.
Okay.
And so the what was the other place you asked about?
The Great Bazaar.
Well, the Great Bazaar is basically shopping, right? It's, just about anything you could ever think of, you can buy there. If you're looking for weapons specifically, you might go to the armory instead. But more or less anything else you're going to find in the Great Bazaar. But the Great Bazaar is also kind of like, that's the, above board, like nice and safe place to go shopping. If you're looking for something a little seedier, or, it's a little bit, uh, you know, uh, under the table, or that sort of thing, sorts of things you wouldn't want to carry through the streets on a daily. Yeah, you would probably go to the Gatehouse Night Market for that.
Yeah.
So actually speaking of like down low and whatnot, um, any particular laws we definitely don't want to break?
Well, yeah, I would advise against breaking laws and getting caught. That's for
Where
sure.
can we, okay, where can we find the laws?
Well, I mean, so
At least knowing them before we decide to
I
break
mean,
them.
uh, uh, forgive me. My friend is a bit literal. Um, are there any particular activities that we might stumble into getting in trouble for unknowingly?
usually, I'd say by and large, anything that you do that is going to get you in trouble is going to get you yelled at before anything else. And so if you get yelled at for something, then stop it, and usually it'll end there.
Oh,
Okay.
so
So,
I mean, for example, like it's some city, there might be a rule that they always make way for the magistrate, and someone comes by and he doesn't look any different from anyone else. Everyone else knows he's the
Yeah.
magistrate. You don't get out of his way, and suddenly you're clapped in irons because this one guy. So that's
Yeah,
the kind of thing that I think we're most worried about
sure,
because we
sure.
don't know
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
local customs.
I think that probably that is not going to be something you have to worry too much about.
Okay.
See, the thing is, laws in a city run by multiple factions with different ideological points of view, like not everybody totally agrees, like there's laws, but then there's also rules, and then there's guidelines, and
so
there's
each
axioms,
area
and yeah,
will
so
have something of its own
yeah, I
guidelines.
think that probably now here's an important question for all of you, especially, you know, my pardon, I mean this affectionately, a bunch of weirdos like you.
Yeah.
Uh, is it fair for me to assume that you have any common sense at all about living in a city?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
This is not my natural terrain.
Maybe at one point, but currently we can't remember.
okay. Well, you know
yeah,
what?
that is part of it, I think.
It's a good thing then that you ran into me, because I can give you all sorts of advice. So what I would say is the first thing. See, here's the thing: if we could go to the Hall of Records or the High Courts or whatever, and I could you could look at these big long scrolls, these big tomes that list all of the actual laws on the books. But the thing is, I think what's going to help you way more than that is just applying kind of the golden rule, which is, uh, both versions of that. One is, the classic, like the goody two shoes version, which is, like treat people with respect. Not everyone likes the same things, but, offer respect to people who would say or whatever they want, like try not to bother other people and let them go about their business, because usually they don't care about you unless you get in their way.
Well, except for that one fellow.
Well, sure, but he was an asshole.
All right. Yeah.
If they disrespect you first, it's less of a bad
Yeah,
thing.
but the other thing is the other version of the golden rule you also might have heard is that whoever has
Those who
the
have
gold
the
make the
gold
rules.
and have the
Makes
rules.
the rules. Yeah. So it's basically there's going to be important people who can decide that the law is basically whatever they want it to be. And so, sometimes you just kind of have to, like, That's why, like I'm saying, better than looking at a book full of words, I would say just try to be respectful of people and don't get on people's nerves if you can help it. And if you discover that you're getting on someone's nerves, try to fix it. I
All
think
right,
that's going to be a
well,
better
Good
advice than
advice.
just looking at a bunch of, ink on
all
paper.
right. So
Understood.
Yeah.
I think we've got something like a plan. Eat, sleep, find work. And I think the mystery of how we all got here, we can perhaps leave as a side project for the time being as we focus more on individual survival. What do you all
Okay.
say?
Yeah,
I-
that does sound like a good idea to me.
As an adventuring party together.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, I mean, the whole bone thing tells me that there's something involved here. There's some kind of fate. There's some
Did
kind
you
of.
did you note the visions where we were in a party together but in different configurations?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did
Well,
we
I
all
mean,
see the different versions of each other?
yes,
Oh, did-
I
oh,
saw
Did
that
we
too.
just
But
see ourselves in?
Yeah, I think
And I,
that's
I think if you talk through it, you will realize that you all saw the same thing.
Yep.
okay.
Oh,
Affirmative.
right.
Yeah.
So given that spooky connection,
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
we ought to stay together just for um, the better chance of investigating whatever this is. And also, I must say, based on the behavior that I saw in that vision, you guys alternate selves are assholes.
I would say
Negative.
that our current versions are probably also assholes.
Okay, well that remains to be seen, but I was just going by what I saw in the vision.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
the all right. So we've agreed we're gonna stick together for a while. So,
Affirmative.
Prisa, do you know of anyone who might be looking to hire an adventuring party?
Well, how about this? You all want to get a good night's sleep? I
Yep.
will meet you back here first thing in the morning, and I'll have a handful of different possible opportunities you can choose from. What do you say?
That
That
sounds
sounds
like a
like-
marvelous idea. Well, see,
Yes.
This is an acceptable proposition.
All right.
Before at some point, Kneecap is going to go over and kind of use an illusion to highlight this gastronome spot on the map.
Mhm.
This?
Ah, well, yeah, that's a fancy restaurant. That is.
We'll put it on
If
the
you
list.
ever wanted like a salad, but a salad that's like a cloud, that's the sort of place you could get one.
that's
Yeah.
That's a bit
As-
much,
You know,
but
I'll
he
be
could.
honest with you, it's a bit rich for my blood. I've never been there. I mean, like walk by, I've seen it. I've never eaten there. It's a little fancy.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, when we have something to celebrate, maybe we'll have an adventure on
Yeah.
a smaller scale.
It's
So-
the gnome part that got
Mhm.
Kneecap's.
All right. So here's the thing. Because I like all of you so very much, and we've only just met and kind of gotten started with this whole arrangement, and it's only been a couple of hours before you're going to go to bed, I'm going to say on the house for tonight, but I would request a deposit for tomorrow.
Well, I've already given her 3 gold.
Okay, well, then in
Yeah.
that case, this is for tomorrow. Paid up through tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll meet you back here in the morning.
All right.
All right, thank you.
All right. And so obviously, you're going to build. She takes the map with her, although presumably you
Yeah.
could probably buy one of your own somewhere.
Right.
But certainly, you can still look at it. I'm not going to take you off of the screen or whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, and certainly you can discover that as I mentioned, the rooms can be had, and they are pretty simple. They're basic, but they have they're not filthy. The beds are like dry and
Yeah.
You'll,
Yeah,
you'll
I'll
leave
pay
with
for-
as many parasites as you came with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll pay to share a room with Cuspid.
Okay.
Okay.
Since I know that they're good for it. For tomorrow night.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
I only have 2 gold left, so I.
Yeah,
mhm.
I
Yeah.
will pay for a room. If anyone wants to share with me, that's fine.
That's fine. You don't. You since neither of us sleep, that'll be fine. We won't disturb.
I
one another.
do need to rest, but yes, I don't sleep
Yeah.
per se. That
Right.
is correct.
Yeah. As we're bedding down for the night, whoever is in the same room as Kneecap will hear him talking to someone or something that doesn't seem to be there, and he's talking in a language that none of you understand.
Oh no, I don't understand English. That's true.
Yep.
And um, would hmm, would do you think any of you might have an idea of what Gnomish sounds like, even if you don't know it?
Maybe.
Probably not.
No, no,
Okay.
I
no,
might.
wouldn't do know it.
I mean, I might, but
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, even if you did understand Gnomish, you still would not be able to understand it. It's
Oh,
like an odd version of Gnomish that does not match what most know.
Ooh, okay, that's creepy. That's
maybe
the
not so.
player. My character wouldn't say the word creepy. Um,
Uh,
disturbing.
Yeah. And then once he's done speaking, he kind of just turns whatever bed he's in into a curl up nest and just goes to sleep.
Yep. Well, Cuspid does her nightly ritual of taking out her fancy embroidered toothy pillow and taking most of the tooth teeth that she had gathered in yesterday's adventure and putting them underneath the pillow before she beds down. Her horns mean that she can't sleep any other way except either face up or face down. She's got wild horns on the sides of her head,
Yeah.
and she's very careful not to rip up the pillow with it. So she
Yeah.
she sleeps on her back. Um, uh, and um, I'm gonna say actually that she snores
Yeah. That's
as
not
a
actually
result.
that's not actually going to bother Malleus all that much. He kind of curls up and hooks his tail over his nose and just kind of like drops off immediately. He's used to sleeping through explosions, but he doesn't know that.
Um, I guess I will be with uh,
Kneecap?
yeah, I'll be with Kneecap, and basically I'll be like kind of trying to figure out the language, but also like just like going over my notebook of music, trying to try to glean clues that I, as a player, know aren't there.
Hmm.
Do you ask about what he's doing?
No, I figure if he wanted to tell me, he'll tell me.
Okay. I just so you know, he won't tell anyone, but he will respond if asked. He won't
Oh, if we
volunteer.
do like, I might ask tomorrow night if it
Okay.
seems like it's a normal thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
It also might be a prayer or something. I'm not going to interrupt with that.
Mm.
A lot of people take their deity worship pretty seriously.
Okay.
For 6 hours, Tarsus is inactive and immobile, but he's always conscious because that's what Warforged do. His mind is trying to file everything that's happened, trying to figure it all out. But from Radius's point of view, he's just like a statue. It doesn't do anything for 6 hours. At 6 hours and 1 second, he suddenly comes into motion again. But Radius
But
doesn't
it,
sleep at all, does he? You say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, David.
I was gonna say, like, what position are you in when you do it?
Like a ramrod sentry. You
Standing
can go
up.
plumb down his back.
He's that one. There's that one suit of armor. You're like, I could swear that thing is breathing, except it's not really.
Yes.
Did that thing just blink?
Yes, I'm that one suit of armor. I am that suit of armor. Yes.
Yeah, and to be fair, I still have to go motionless like a literal statue for
Oh,
4
you're
hours.
gonna get along just
Yeah,
great.
yeah. So like, if anyone ever peeks their head in the room, there's just two people standing.
Standing there having a staring contest. 6 hours.
6 hours.
Well,
Staring contest champion. For you.
if Radius does his thing for 4 hours and Tarsus is 6
Yeah.
hours, then Tarsus wins.
Oh, and but then I would, but now when I'm done, I would actually like to copy that animate dead spell into my book.
Sure. So you can do that. Animate Dead is, I think, a 3rd level spell.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you have access to that yet.
Yeah, if you can't cast 3rd level spells yet, then you can copy it in, but there's a risk that it will fail. If you wait until you're level 5, I think you can do it
Okay.
without the risk.
Okay. I'll now. Could I safely take the scroll and put it in my book so that way I don't lose it?
Oh, well, sure. Like we can just imagine that you have it in your inventory, and
Yeah.
that way you could still cast it with the scroll if you wanted, but of course you lose the scroll that way. But yeah, if you if you wait until you can cast 3rd level spells, I think it's easier.
Okay.
And also, I would actually probably arrange to be, like, if anyone's particularly down on hit points, I'll arrange to do, like, if we're, like, actually, wait, I will do that. I'm going to ask the bartender if they mind some music, and then before we go to bed, and bring out the bagpipes.
Sure.
And in the process, like, do the Song of Rest.
Well, you're about to get a long rest, so I think you don't need.
Well, I want to make sure everyone's topped up, not like at the end.
Okay, well, fair enough, but you're gonna do so. You can do the long rest, and that's gonna top everybody up to begin with. So you probably don't need to do that part right now. But if you did want to perform in the tavern, that's definitely something we could do.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll bring out the bagpipes.
I imagine the way that goes is you start off by saying, it's like, how about I do a little music performance, and the bartender smiles, and then you bring out the bagpipes, and they're like, wait.
I actually know
how about
to
a persuasion? How about a persuasion check?
That's fine.
Yeah.
So that's a 16.
Okay, it's like, all right. Well, you know what? Let's give it a couple of songs and see how the crowd's enjoying you.
26.
A 26. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
You have people crying, saying to themselves,
crying and laughing, and
I never knew.
I never knew bagpipes could actually sound good.
Oh no, bagpipes are awesome.
If they are played right, they are good.
Of course,
Like
yeah. I mean, I
But-
am.
But let us not forget that this was an instrument that was designed to terrify people on the battlefield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, if anyone is concerned, my own personal opinion on bagpipes is that yes, when they are played well, they can be very good. They can also not be played well, and in that state, they are
Horrid.
less good.
But yeah, let's be nice to our.
But
our
yes,
friend by
but yes,
friends.
it turns out though that you knock them dead. Everyone is very pleased with your bagpipes, and I think you pick up 5 golden tips.
Oh, nice. Well
Hey.
done.
I mean, it's a bard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Xenophon made his coin last game. So.
Okay, so I think that if you have any other business you would like to do, you can. But otherwise, you can all turn in for a long rest.
All
Yep.
All
right.
right.
Yep.
Ah,
Okay. Doo-doo-doo-doo. So, in the morning, you can come back downstairs, and you realize first of all. Oh yes.
How much cash does Cuspid find under her pillow in the morning?
Well, so this is something that we didn't really talk about in a mechanical sense, did we?
Yeah. No. Well, see, the mechanically speaking,
Mhm.
what we had worked out was that Cuspid wasn't going to accept treasure, but was going to get her share, quote unquote,
Right.
through her sacrifices.
Mhm.
Um, uh, and so if it's only like a few silvers, it's fine. That's as much as she ever expects to see.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and say that because you, especially because you certainly you put some effort in
Mm-hmm.
to getting them. You didn't just happen across them, and you got some unusual teeth. I think you get a
Yes.
little bit of a premium. So let's how about let's call it a charisma check
Okay.
where for every point above 10 you get you get a base result of 5 silver. For every point
Okay.
above 10 you get another 5 silver.
Okay.
Does that
Sounds good
sound
to me.
fair?
Sounds fair.
Okay, well
That's 10.
that's a 10 exactly. So 5 silver.
Okay.
So the other thing I was going to just point out is what you realize is in this very strange city, you don't really see a sun. However, there is nonetheless uh, a general brightening of the sky that seems to correspond to a day-night cycle, even though you don't see a sun rising and setting. However, I think let's. I'm going to roll a d6.
There's no, I mean, there's no sky,
Well, you can
right?
see the sky on either side of the ring.
Oh, it's a ring.
Yeah,
I thought it was,
Yeah.
I thought it was a Taurus.
it's a well, it's a torus, but like open in the middle.
Oh, okay.
That's how
Like
you
a
can see
donut.
the other side.
We're on Ring World.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're on,
Oh,
we're on
okay.
Ring World.
So,
yeah. See, look at the
So-
bottom of the map. See, you're on the inside of this hollow shape with it open in the center.
okay. So it's not true that if we go off the north side, we'll come on the south side.
Correct. There's big
Okay.
edges that you look like. However,
Okay.
the way that gravity works is you are at any time attracted to the point of ground closest to you.
Right.
Um,
Well, I mean, that almost goes
Which
without
means
saying.
that you could walk all the way up to that edge and you would still feel like you're walking on the ground, but you're going to get to a point where you can't go any further without
Right.
stepping off the
And
edge.
on one edge you would see infinite sky, and on the other edge, when you look down, you would see the spire going down
Exactly.
to the surface. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I think I'm going to roll a d6 and it's a 1. So, Cuspid,
Yes.
you are awoken a little bit early,
Mhm.
not so early that you didn't get a long rest, but through the window in your room, there is one particularly bright spot that just kind of shines like a flashlight right on your face. And as you
Mhm.
look, you can look across, like up along the ring, and there seems to be one building in particular that just is. It's just extra bright and glowy to the point where it's like if the sun were reflecting off of something shiny, but it's just like, ah.
If I
It is on the map.
Think
It
back-
is here that this heart's fire. That is so like if you compared it to the map that you saw, that's about where it seems to be.
Okay. I will take that down as a space that I want to look into, because so yes, when we come down to breakfast,
Mhm.
I'll say, I was woken up this morning by a shaft of light coming through the window from what I think is the hearth fire over on the other side of the place. And so, in amongst all the other things that we're doing, I'd like to go there.
I'm up for it.
Okay.
It
Okay.
seems as much of an indication that I should go there as anything we've seen or heard. And none of it makes any sense. So, hey, why not?
Mhm.
Exactly.
So I think that you know, as you start kind of coming down to the common room again, the bartender on duty asks, "Are you checking out, or are you going to want your room for another night?"
We'll keep the rooms for another night, I believe.
Yep.
Affirmative.
So dropped another 2 gold.
Yep. We'll drop another two
For-
gold.
Yep.
Right. And so I think that you get free breakfast in exchange for going ahead and renewing your rooms and paying. Now the free breakfast is more of those brown crunchy things and one small beer. Now you can also order regular food, but that's the free breakfast.
That's the continental.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
continental.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I
You don't get
appreciate-
to go over and use that fancy waffle maker with the crank and everything
Mhm.
unless you pay.
Yeah. Unless
Yeah.
you unless you're here for a week, right?
That's the premium breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so about that time though, Parisa shows up again and just says, "Good morning, good morning. I hope
Morning.
everybody slept well.
Yep.
My rest was
Absolutely,
acceptable.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Mhm.
Good,
Um,
good."
yeah, and like ask her or ask them how they're doing this morning and all
Oh,
the pleasantries.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on a day of got work.
Yeah. Get-
So
Yeah.
let's talk about what you'd like to do. Now, what we didn't really touch on last night is exactly how much, like, what level of danger are you all up for? Because obviously, the dangerous ones pay more. But there's also lots of jobs that
Well,
aren't too dangerous as these things go.
it's uh, see, it's difficult to calibrate because we don't know. Okay, let's put it this way. On a scale that starts with getting getting cyclically assaulted by a rat with a large brain.
Psychically, just one?
Yeah, just the
Yes.
one. Just the one.
Hmm. All right.
And
Well,
then
okay.
and then at the middle of the scale would be fighting your way out of the mortuary from the uh, 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 um,
Like, see,
Well, I
that
think the
sounds
black
hard and
pudding needs to
dangerous.
be.
Like, so
Yeah.
here's the thing though. The rat with the large brain. I mean, the cranium rats is, we call them squeakers. I mean, they're around. You see them. They don't usually psychically assault someone. Now, if you get a whole swarm of them together, that's a different story. But like one offs are really not like that strong. They're kind of just smart rats, but that's about all they're up to for one. But you can actually use those if you've got the knack for them. You can actually use them as little messengers. They can remember basic psychic impressions and deliver messages for you.
Is that why the rat catchers were trying to catch it?
Well, see, the real reason we got the rat catchers is even though an individual cranium rat can be very useful, the problem is that when you get a lot of cranium rats in somebody's cellar or something like that, they can start getting collective consciousness and they get a lot smarter and they can be dangerous that way. So usually the rat catchers are trying to keep, like, you're never going to get rid of the squeakers. There's going to be cranium rats, right? But you try to keep the numbers down and it reduces the likelihood of the big swarms forming, collective consciousnesses, and they're more dangerous that way.
Understood.
on that scale. What have you got that's on that order? Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, companions. We did handle the mortuary pretty handily. I mean, there was some danger and there was, some injuries and, we did not come out of it unscathed, but at the same time, I think we handled it pretty well. So,
And I've
yes,
picked up at least another trick or two that should help out
right.
as well.
So that's what we've got to calibrate with. What have
Okay.
you got?
All right. Well, so on the easier end of this, so the basic way that these jobs are going to work out for you, right, is there's the ones that are easy, don't pay very much.
Mhm.
There's ones that are dangerous, pay more. There's ones that are labor intensive but not necessarily dangerous. Both of those are going to pay more. Then you get the ones that are, both of those things and they pay the most, right? Straightforward. I think that makes sense, common.
Right. I think we're looking for dangerous.
All right. Well, it just so happens that the Face of Gith, which is it's a bar. It's a bar, but it's for a lot of the like psychic types. So it's kind of quiet if you're not a psychic type. Dour, if you ask me personally, but some people like it. It's fine. The point is, the bartender there has a death knight that is refusing to pay his tab. Now, this is not like a leg breaking job, but this is a cranky, dangerous death knight that doesn't want to pay his tab, and it's a go visit them and politely remind them job, right? This is not assassination. This is not beat them up, because that's a whole other thing. But this is the sort of thing where Death Knight, dangerous enough that you don't want to send unprepared individuals even to go talk to them. So that's one job. On the easier end of the spectrum, something that I kind of picked because it's actually a little, it's light, but it's kind of fun, and I thought it's a good way to kind of like see a bit more of the city. If you go to the headquarters of the Sensates at the Civic Fest Hall, they do these things called sensory stones. Have you heard of sensory stones?
Negative.
No, or not that I recall.
Well, sensory stones are these neat little gizmos that it's basically a rock, right? But it's magic, and it can record thoughts and feelings of things.
All right.
And they have like a library of those. So they're always on the lookout for people to record new ones for them. So sometimes what you can do is you can find out what they're looking for, and you can give them, if you can find some way to get like, they'll have some particular emotion that they're looking for, and if you can get that emotion out of someone and record. We're hearing voices in the background from someone.
Oops, sorry.
So we're you can get, if you could get that recording for them, then they'll pay you. So that was another thought I had. And then so you asked a lot about laws. There are some jobs that are probably, let's say, flirting with the idea that there might be some people who would think what you're doing is against the law. So I don't know how interested you are in that sort of job. Thought I'd mention before I just pointed them out. Like, none of the ones I've said so far would be in that category. But, like, obviously there's, you can just, there's people who come in and out of the Hall of Records are often carrying boxes, and you can just carry stuff. No, that's not, you're probably not interested in that one. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking for other. Oh, you know what? Here's one. There's a place where they say, it's an abandoned building that's been occupied by, let's see, Eticaps? Yeah. Eticaps. They're like big spidery fellas. So like clear out the spidery fellas out of the abandoned building.
Whereabouts is that?
Well, it's in the Hive district.
Yeah, that definitely sounds up our alley. especially abandoned buildings. If it accidentally gets set on fire, I don't think anybody's going to be too upset about it.
All right.
Probably avoid. No, we should be avoiding.
Well,
property
I will go
damage.
ahead and say that this particular job, your employer would probably prefer that the building not get set on fire. They kind of want the
Oh,
ether
okay.
caps out of it so that it can be not abandoned anymore.
Understood.
Okay. I was
Look,
misunderstanding
yeah,
the level of not abandoned.
I'm not judging. I just want to see you get paid.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So
Yep.
is that that's the ticket then?
I think that sounds like it's up our alley.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Affirmative.
So I think then, as you are, is you all ready to head out then?
Yep.
Sure. And well, also, maybe not for today, but if you find anything around Heartsfire,
Oh, what about Hotfire?
Just had like this. Well, I mean, gonna sound silly. Woke up with the light of it shining in my face, and I thought it would be worth looking at.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you can. I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't mean to laugh at you. It does sound silly though, because yeah, Heartsfire does that. It's like it's bright and shiny. It's got a bunch of stainless steel windows, or not stainless steel, but stained glass. That's what I'm looking for. Stained glass windows all over it, and it's just like it's a temple devoted to gods of like fire and truth and light, and so like the shiny. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't necessarily assume that it means anything special for you, but it is, like if it shined on you through your window in the morning, I'd pull the shades before we go to bed tonight. I mean, hey, if you want to go see it, we'll
it's
be
as
happy
much
to take you.
direction as we've got for
Oh,
anything.
sure. I would be happy to take you there. It's not a problem at all. I think when you go there, it is quite pretty. I mean, I'm not a big, worshiper.
I'd say let's do the job first, though.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Affirmative.
All right. First we work, then we look at stained glass windows, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
So they guide you to like one of the back hallways of the tavern here, and it says, "So, this is something not everybody knows, but I'm the expert. So if you come around here and you see these two knots in the wood paneling right here, knock, knock, and she knocks on them together, and it opens like a secret door, and you can see that it's definitely a different part of the city out there than the front entrance.
Is that a portal?
Yeah, a little shortcut. This is what I was talking about with the ubiquitous wayfarer. People think it's all over the place because they know the different ways to get in from all over the city.
So who set these up?
Well, I mean, I suppose, if you really go back to it, technically Lady of Pain is in charge of every single one of the portals. Like, she can turn them off and on with a snap of her fingers if she chooses. So there's that. But then, like, all sorts of people do portals from all over the place. And, there's an awful lot of portals. No one really knows who's in charge of them.
Or who built them all.
Yeah. But, you get to learn. You get to learn which portals are going to be interested. What I would advise is, unless you know exactly where the other end of a portal is, don't just walk through it willy-nilly. You can end up in some really dangerous places, and you might not be able to get back.
Good advice.
Understood.
Yes.
All right, but this way, it's going to take us right back out to the Gatehouse Night Market, and that'll be not too far from your new job.
Now, will that portal always be there?
Well, from right here, you open it with the knots, right? And if you follow me through.
Yeah, we follow her through.
And she goes to close the door, and from this side, there is a poster that looks like it was pasted up on a brick wall and then half torn off, so like you can only read like the bottom corner of it. And she just says, so you just trace the outline of where the poster would be here, and it opens back up. You see?
Oh, cool.
That is interesting.
Yep. You know, every portal's a little different. Some of them you need to have, like, you know, you need to know the special gesture. Some of them you need to have a special key, like a certain object. Some of them open at just different times. Portals do all sorts of crazy business. That's why, like I said, don't mess around with the portals unless you know what you're doing. If you want to study them and get to know them better, you can certainly do that. But I'd say steer clear until you know what you're doing.
All right.
Noted.
All right. So, as you are emerging near the Gatehouse Night Market, it is morning. So I'm going to give you another handout. Although this is, you know, it's a night market, so it's not actually that active right now. So I'll show you this, but this is what it would look like when it's active at night. And what she's pointing out here as you walk through relatively sparse, you know, alleys where it looks like mostly just people doing business and not like shoppers or travelers, you know. She says, you see, now at night, a lot of these different walls that just look like blank walls right around here, they've got pocket dimension little booths in there where they got their kitchens and you can you know, they got, you know, the stalls wherever they're going to sell all their little bits and bobs and food and all that sort of stuff. It's a really great place. See, like I said, this is a place you go if you're, you know, looking for a little bit shadier business, you know, a little bit less attention on you.
More
something a little
excitement.
harder to find. Yeah, exactly. So
Aye.
it's a lot of fun, but obviously a little bit, you know, slow during the day. But then she leads you along to kind of a
As we're
oh yeah, go ahead.
as we're walking, Kneecap would like to kind of, you know, tap on her leg, say, and rat messages. Who does?
Oh well, you know, lots of people do. You looking to you want to give it a try?
Received from who?
Oh well, you know, I mean, like someone who knows how to send them, I suppose.
What he's
And
referring to
he's
is
gonna give kind of an idea, kind of a glimpse at of the visions we received from
Okay.
that.
She kind of is giving you kind of a wide-eyed look, and then she just says, "Uh, cranium rats don't do that."
oh,
Oh,
Okay.
So listen, if you got a message from a single cranium rat, you know what it would be like? It would be like hearing a little voice in your head, maybe just a little flash of like a smell, or like maybe just a brief glimpse of someone's face. That's like all they do.
Okay.
so that wasn't them. Got it. So that's a different sort of mystery to figure out now.
Rat
But let's do the
catchers
job
rat.
first and we'll check. We'll
Yep.
take a further look after.
All right. Well, I hope you figure that out because that's mysterious. So there's no map for this building because you know you
Mhm.
guys are exploring different stuff to do. So I'm going to drag tokens onto the map just for. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Let me put that on. Tokens onto the map just for purposes of doing, you know, tracking. And so I think she brings you to what looks like there's a sort of just an office that has a sign out front that says the Real Hive Real Estate.
real hive. Okay.
And so she takes you in and she just says, "Hi-oh, these are the ones." and there's a gnome with a uh, like got the horseshoe, graying horseshoe of hair,
Mhm.
and a little pencil mustache and a little half moon glasses sitting behind the desk and says, "Oh, finally. I was beginning to think nobody wanted to take this job. Are all of you experienced fighters then, or just
Yes.
because?
Yes.
Different
Affirmative.
talents.
Right, because these are very unpleasant individuals, and they're kind of like a gang. So definitely, like they're trying to claim squatters' rights and all of that, and that's nonsense because they killed the night watchman who was there. So they are definitely dangerous. But if you could clear them out, I don't care what happens to them, except that they need to not be in my building anymore.
All right.
Okay.
I assume that you've got someone to come in and take residence after we clear it out so that,
Oh yes, I mean that was actually what we were planning to do when we discovered that there was webs all over the place.
right. All right
So
then.
yes, it's going to be a bakery. In fact, once like we clean it up, like probably
All right
wouldn't
then.
want to eat anything that cooked in there right now. So,
Yep.
but that's why I hired you all. So yeah,
Yes.
I enjoy. That sounds weird. Yeah. So
Just need to know how to find it because we're not from around here.
oh yeah, no, like I wanted to see you briefly, but yeah, Parisa knows where it is.
All right.
Okay.
Great.
Affirmative.
All right.
Oh, and
Yep.
what's the pay for this?
25 gold piece.
That's good.
Sounds great.
Your offer is acceptable.
Okay, so she guides you along to a like it's looks like a fairly standard two-story building that might have like an apartment up above, something that could be a business, but there is a front window and a front door that are clearly boarded up. Um, that except for one board has been pried loose, so there's like enough room for a medium-sized creature to crawl through that opening there, and it's you could just see there's just webs all over, and especially when you look up at like through the second floor windows, you can definitely see there are webs up there as well.
Alrighty.
All right. So, as for approach, I was thinking that the plan that's least likely to go wrong is a frontal assault with where we just go in and just start killing things. Now that has the advantage of being fairly simple for everyone to follow, and is not terribly subtle or if things go wrong, it's pretty clear right from the beginning. We could take a multi-pronged attack, but here's my thought on that. If one of these fellows wishes to evacuate the premises, that's just one less fight we have to have. So I'm thinking that any escapees are part of the plan. After all, we're not here to exterminate. We are simply here to chase them out. So maximum sound and fury from moment one seems to be the right plan as far as I'm concerned. But then who am I?
You are one of our
Yep.
adventuring company.
Yep. And that is a pretty good plan.
All right
I
then.
think I can handle sound. Like I start pulling out the bagpipes. I can handle sound.
Oh, but do you really want to get the neighbors mad at us? This
this
early in the
point-
morning.
At
The
this
neighbor-
point,
The
the
problem,
neighbors probably don't like the other caps either.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Your bagpipe
So-
playing was melodious last night.
Yes, I did enjoy that.
Yes.
You all see
I
me
can
Jeff,
all.
that is just ready and
can-
raring to go.
Yes.
I could
Like-
also make it not so pleasant.
Now, here's the one thing we need to be careful of. Our smaller friend over here does have a tendency to catch himself on fire. And webs are also flammable, so I'm a little worried about once the things get going, he's quite possibly going to be a fire hazard. And I don't think we'll get paid if we burn the place down. So what plan do we have to put out a fire if he if that should happen? That's what I would like to know.
Mm,
Unfortunately, I do not have.
I have no
Um,
abilities to douse flames, not unnaturally.
closest thing I got is Ray of Frost.
Yeah, I don't
Are
have
we
the.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm a
Huh?
firebug.
Yeah. What's it?
water?
s-
Well,
yeah, where's the nearest well? And is there some
Okay.
sort of service that we can
Yes,
warn in advance?
and I should point out, the prestidigitation cantrip allows you to snuff a small fire.
Yeah, but
So,
not.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
we may need to
It
be
might
catching
might
these
help
things
while
early.
the fire department shows up.
Well, so here's the thing. Closest source of water of any significant volume is going to be the ditch, and we're not too far from the ditch. But as it happens right now, sometimes it's, say, sometimes a portal to the plane of water opens up and it flows through all clean as you like, and it's glorious. People go swimming, but then long periods of time in between that, water gets kind of dirty. Don't really want to touch it. It's on the dirtier side right now, I'd say, but it's
Time for putting out fires.
Yeah.
well, maybe.
I guess
Okay.
it depends on what's been dumped into it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think I think Malleus will look at Kneecap and say, probably best to avoid raging,
okay.
Well,
because we want to smash, but we don't want to burn.
Well, so the fire generated by Kneecap's aura does not necessarily catch any wooden thing on fire, but something especially flammable might, but not like if you're just standing on a wooden floor, it's not going to automatically start burning.
Yeah.
It might get scorched.
Okay.
right. I'm a little
Yeah.
worried about spider webs. That's what I'm worried.
Well, spiderwebs.
Spiderwebs will definitely go up.
So,
Yeah. So I'm just saying that, like, yeah, okay. Well, up
Yeah.
to
so
you all.
well,
It is a
we'll
valid
start
risk.
out
Yes.
like that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than saying don't rage, I guess it is a bit much to ask to be careful about it. I think that's kind of antithetical to the idea.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe use that as a last resort. if
Oh,
things
shoot.
start going bad.
Webs are organic, so shatter's not going to work on it.
I mean,
No.
it could still hurt.
You still damage them. You just won't do
But
extra
you won't get
Well,
that
no,
back
it's
to them.
more. I was thinking more of the webs themselves
Yeah.
rather
right,
than the
yeah.
outer.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that they won't take extra damage, but
Well,
they could still take thunder damage. They're not immune to
Yeah.
thunder damage or
Mhm.
anything.
Anyway,
Alrighty.
So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what
Alright.
happens.
All right. So, Parisa is just like, so it's clear. I'm not going in there, but I'll
No.
wait out here.
Mhm, no,
Yeah.
well,
Affirmative.
we're not expecting you to come in.
Good luck. Go team.
all right.
Kneecap's
Stay
gonna
cheerful.
hold up the whistle he found and say, "Whistle for fire help."
All right. I will listen for the whistle.
Okay.
Tucks it away.
All right.
Good plan.
Everybody ready?
Mhm.
Yep.
Affirmative.
Team. And
And
march in the front
Run.
door.
it's
Okay,
just
well,
gonna-
so the front door is boarded up. There's the one place on the window where you could crawl through, or you could try to
Let's-
smash down the boarded up door.
Let's
I-
open up the door.
Kneecap's gonna open the door.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying.
Brain beat. Let Kneecap be
I'm
Kneecap.
unless you're
Wait.
trying to literally like smash through it, it will take a moment to pry the the boards away. I don't think that is beyond your capabilities. I'm just saying, let's for the mental
Yeah.
picture of it, it takes a moment to
Uh-huh.
pry the boards away. But you do that so that you can just open the door. And as soon as you do, yeah, you look around and it's very dark in there. The only source of light at all is, from the cracks in the boarded up windows.
Right.
There are cobwebs everywhere.
So I start to look as like, does anyone actually need light?
don't.
Affirmative.
Affirmative. All right, casting light cantrip on.
Tarsus.
Yeah, I'll cast it on Tarsus.
Okay. So I think as soon as you do that, and there is light in this front room here, you see that up in the corner of the ceiling. Let's see, is there a handout? Yeah. Oh shoot, can I not? Let's see if there's a handout for it, because there's definitely artwork. Ettercap? No, there's no handout. So what it looks like is, if you imagine an anthropomorphized spider that has just 2 arms and 2 legs, but otherwise is very spider-like in its face and texture and hands and feet.
Mhm.
That is what an ettercap looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
medium-sized, and you see one clinging to the ceiling up there. And as the light hits it, it hisses, and we're gonna roll
Roll
initiative.
initiative.
Initiative. Yay!
Alrighty, here we
Do you
go.
want to switch us to another map?
No, we're just gonna do Theater of the Mind.
Okay.
Theater of the
Okay.
Mind it is.
This is
Remember
not
to-
one of the pre-written encounters. This is you guys were looking for work, so here's a job for you.
There's your work. All right.
Yeah.
People actually get to go before me. Yay!
I like.
Wow, that's
I
a
like
lot of low
Kneecap's position.
initiative rolls.
Yeah. It
Wait.
is.
I like Kneecap's position.
Yes,
let's
some
see,
people
Mal
do
is
still go
5.
before me.
Okay, so that is going to be Kneecap first.
Okay,
Appropriate.
how high up is the?
So I would say what standard ceilings are what, like
6 to 8 feet.
yeah. So like I would say it is. It is within melee range. Like you would have to run and like be under it, but it would be melee range that way.
Okay, yeah.
But you would have
Kneecap's
to be
gonna
like
do that.
literally right under it.
Yeah, gonna go right beneath and just. Yeah.
All right.
So. Get to my side. Well. 12.
12 unfortunately misses. It jumps to the side, and your flail just scrapes along a little bit of its natural armor that it's got on its tough hide.
Gonna try and tag it with the sickle then.
All right.
Off. And that's a 9. So
Okay. Unfortunately, no.
and just gonna yell at it.
Okay. Great. Radius.
Alrighty. It was just those 2 so far.
Well, I mean, you only so I've got 2
Oh.
here on the map, but you only see the one at the moment.
Okay. Let's see. Then I will use Mind Sliver on it.
Okay.
Mind Sliver.
Mind sliver.
Intelligence.
Okay. That's an intelligence save.
Yep, 13.
Yeah. It got a 12.
Woo! So it'll take 3 points of damage
Nice.
And that other effect. And it also subtract from its next saving throw. 4. Nice.
All
I'm
right.
gonna
Yeah.
write that down.
Yeah, so you watch as it like it almost falls from the ceiling as it presses one of its weird clawed hands up to its face, and all of its various eyes just kind of squint, and it goes. Tarsus.
I will declare. I will use my warrior skill to change this to force damage, and I will make sure I'm not within the aura of the barbarian if they
Mhm.
rage, and I will shoot at the Ettercap. Let's give it a shot. See
Okay.
what we can do with this. All right. That is a 23.
Okay, 23 will certainly hit.
So
Six.
that's 6 plus 8 from the extra force for a total of 14 force damage
Alright.
on the Ettercap.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a significant strike on this thing, and it hisses, and I think at this point, like it is, well, it's not its turn, so I'm not going to have it move yet, but it looks like it's getting ready to move.
Okay.
Caspid.
All right. The things are getting a little crowded in there. So I think what I'm going to do is,
I would, just as far as geography, I would like everyone to envision the front, like, customer area of like a Dunkin' Donuts or something.
Okay.
so I'm going to just step inside the doorway, and I'm going to cast Hex on it as a bonus action,
Okay.
and then shoot it with my crossbow.
All right.
Unfortunately, that's just a 10.
A 10 is a miss, unfortunately, and it caroms off the corner of the wall and clatters
Yeah.
to the floor.
Yeah, the Hex is going to give it disadvantage on strength checks.
Okay. All right. So the Kneecap is the only one that ran right up to it, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everyone else
Yes.
was doing from a range. So I think what happens is that from the back room there is a sort of like a window of what would presumably be the kitchen area, and through it shoots a web, like a strand of web at Kneecap, and that is a 16 to hit Kneecap.
That is my AC.
Okay. The webbing wraps around you, and you find that for the moment you are restrained by the webbing. And then the other one that's above you is going to drop down from the ceiling on top of you, and it is going to try to bite and claw at you with advantage because you're restrained.
Hmm.
Bite. That's a 16 to hit. And that's going to be 5 piercing damage, and then make a Constitution saving throw, please.
14?
Okay, so
And I haven't gone yet, so
yeah, so you are not poisoned. However, it is 5 piercing damage and 8 poison damage.
Oh no.
But you are not poisoned.
Okay.
And then it's going to make its claw attack as well. And that is going to be a 21 to hit for another 7 slashing damage.
Okay.
And then it is going to use its movement to try to start dragging you back into the kitchen area. But you are big enough that it's moving slow, and so it can't really get too far. It's trying to pull you back, but it can't, get you out. It can only move you 15 feet. But then the other Ettercap is hissing at you now from through that window.
Oh.
And again, this is not a window to the outside; it's to another room on the ground level here.
Okay.
Okay, and that is the Ettercap's turn. Cora.
Alrighty. So, I believe hearing bird. Alright, well, I'm going to start. Oh, the way Bards works is I can still do like performance and spellcasting at the same time, right?
Um,
Or did that drop?
No.
Well, like what performance are you talking about here?
Oh, I was going to start the bagpipes because, well,
Oh,
clamor.
well, if using bartering inspiration is your bonus action, you
Mhm.
can do that
Yeah.
and then a spell that casts an action.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna save the inspiration for the moment, but I am going to healing word the barbarian at using it at second level. For 12 points of damage. Whoops, nope, only once. So it's still 12. 12 points
Nice.
Yep, that's
to the
good.
barbarian.
Okay.
That should feel
Nice.
better. And yeah, I am playing bagpipes. I had shared March of Cambrith earlier, and so that's what I'm going to play now.
Okay. Great.
All right.
Next.
Malleus.
All right. So, all right. Eldritch Cannon.
Okay.
We're gonna take on that Force Ballista. For let's see. Scrolling all over the place. I'm aiming for the one that is trying to drag off my bro,
Sure.
my
That's-
short bro.
Makes sense.
All right. And I've got 120-foot range on this thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
That's not a problem.
Yeah.
all right, but that doesn't hit. It's only a 9.
Yeah. I think it part of the ceiling, like it's that drop ceiling stuff. So a couple of those ceiling panels go and
Yeah,
are
so
like shatter and rain like dust and you know, drywall paste and probably rat droppings all over you.
yeah, so I'm going to use my movement to follow after him.
Okay. All right. We're back up to the top of the initiative. Kneecap, you are currently restrained, but you could try to, you know, unrestrain yourself if you like. We'll take your action to do so.
I think I'm just gonna swing at this thing recklessly, so I don't have disadvantage.
Okay. Which it will mean that you stay restrained and you will stay at advantage for their attacks.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, basically, it'd be just the way it was before.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Except that you're still tied up, wrapped up in webs.
Yeah. 13?
A 13 does just hit.
Yes. 12 damage.
Okay.
Max damage.
Nice.
Nice. Noise.
All right.
And then for gonna swing with the sickle.
All right. Yeah, the flail sort of crunches into one of its shoulders.
That 8.
Okay. Unfortunately, yeah, that one
So
goes.
try and it just hits the ground as it dodges out of the way.
Yep. Okay, so it will be Radius next, but before any of you can do anything else, at this point you hear in your heads a voice saying, "Leave now, this building is ours." But as far as you can tell, it doesn't necessarily, like, it's coming, it's in your heads, but it's not obviously coming from either of these monsters.
Okay.
And so Radius, it is now your turn.
That's Kneecap's reaction. Just yell.
Negative.
Then I will. Let's see. Still being dragged. What is the likelihood I'll cause a fire? I will choose to aim very carefully.
Oh,
As I cast Firebolt at the one trying to drag off our little buddy.
Okay. A 13 does hit.
Nice. It's only 4 damage.
All right. Well,
Damage is damage.
Yep.
it sure is. Yep.
And that'll be my turn.
Okay, and it takes that hit, and that one's looking pretty beat up at this point. It's definitely taken some hits. It's not looking good. All right, and I'll also just the rest of this space that you're in, as I mentioned. So there's sort of a back room where you suspect would be like a kitchen area that's got this window that these ettercaps are kind of crawling through, and then off to one side there is a set of stairs that presumably go up to the second level.
Okay.
All right, Tarsus.
Tarsus looks at the creature, says, "My companion shall be released," and uses Plane of Water and shoots an arrow at it
Okay.
because tying up Kneecap is not what Tarsus approves of. That is a 17.
Okay, a 17 does hit. Okay.
So a total of 13 force damage.
All right, yeah, that one, you strike it right through one of its, like in between its little pedipalps and its weird spider mouth, and it sort of jerks in spasms and then kind of rolls over on its back and curls its legs up. That one's dead.
Effect achieved. Next target to be acquired.
Yeah. Okay. Cuspid.
Okay, so that's the one that I hexed
Yes.
last turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I believe as a bonus action, I can switch that to another one.
Yeah.
So there's so I will use that bonus action to switch it to the other one, and shoot at that one with my crossbow.
All right.
Much better. That's a 16.
16 hits.
Okay. The crossbow does 10 points of damage, and the hex does another 2.
Nice.
So 12 damage.
All right.
I presume it's also strength checks.
Yep, strength checks, yes.
All right. Okay. It is your turn, or no, yeah, your turn is done. And then this ettercap, I think, is going to fire. Well, actually, I have to see if it refreshes its, if it gets its web back. It does not. But it is going to scuttle forward and attack, the still restrained Kneecap. Wow, double natural ones. I think that it accidentally bites down on the flail, the end of the flail. And you hear a crunch that is probably not the flail's sound, and it sort of rears back and then does a claw attack in sort of desperation. But it looks very unhappy with the taste of that.
Christiana,
What?
last session fought the acid creature.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
What was the penalty from that?
It should have been a permanent -1 to damage rolls, but if you
Okay.
you only hit it the one time, the
just
other
want
one
to
didn't count instead.
make sure to be aware of that.
Yes. Okay. Good. So that will yes. Thank you for the reminder. All right. So it's clawing at you. 17 is a little better for 4 slashing damage. Yeah, and then it is also going to try to drag you. This time, instead of back towards the kitchen, is trying to drag you towards the stairs. Was there anyone else who was like, Malleus? You ran. So someone ran right up to be there right next to. No,
I don't think anyone ran up.
Okay.
I was following
Okay. Well,
Kneecap.
I was trying to see if anyone would have an opportunity attack, but it seems like no. So, all
I
right.
don't think so.
So, drags Kneecap still webbed up towards the base of the stairs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Cora.
So I'm going to cast True Strike on.
Well, there's only one target.
No, well, no, True Strike. I can do any of.
True Strike is not a spell. I think I will potentially let you change that spell because I think it may not work the way you're thinking that it does. True Strike is basically you use your action this turn to give yourself advantage next turn.
And I can't put it on someone else, whereas
No.
I used to be able to. All right.
Yeah.
All right, then in
I will let you pick a different cantrip if
yeah, I'll
that
pick a
doesn't work the way
different
you meant.
thing. But in the
Mhm.
so
It's a weird spell. I think as written, it's not very good.
Yeah, there. All right. So I guess in the meantime, I'm just gonna do a first level healing word on the little barbarian.
Okay.
Min the damage, but that's well. I mean, min the healing, but that's still 5.
All right.
And I'll look at other spells.
Okay. Malleus.
Well, I think is. All right. So remind me, is Kneecap still restrained?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I will run. I will run up to Kneecap now and see if I can give him some assistance in getting out of that webbing.
Okay. You can. Let's see. You can either attack the webbing or make a strength check.
Let me make a strength check.
Okay.
I am rolling
Oh,
like
no.
crap.
Wow.
I'm going to
Okay, so
retire
natural
these
one.
dice.
Yeah. So I think, unfortunately, what happens with a natural one is that not only do you not succeed in tearing the webs, but you get your hands stuck in them.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
figured that's what was going to happen.
So I will say that you are not restrained likewise, but you are grappled.
And it may at least makes it harder to drag
Yeah.
drag him away.
Yeah, that's fine.
More
right.
weight.
That's,
All right,
that's a
let's
good
change.
one.
Let's change dice and see if those work. See if these new ones work better.
All right. Kneecap.
Okay. Well, still got a target right
Mm-hmm.
next to me, so gonna flail. 15
Okay, 15 hits.
for 10 reduced to 9.
Okay.
And then sickle.
And sickle.
Only 11.
Okay, unfortunately that doesn't hit.
Just
And meanwhile, Malleus is kind of like getting jerked back and forth as you
Oh my God.
writhe around trying to do your attacks while being webbed up, and their hands are stuck to you.
Yeah, it's all about the comedy.
All right. Oops. So now what happens is something I think that you probably all wouldn't expect here. First, let's see. There's 2 attacks of this type. Okay. So, Kneecap, you feel another web shoot out at you, but this one feels different. It's like weirdly like dark. It's like harder to see. It's almost like it's made of shadow. And Malleus, you feel for a split second that another one of these strands zips right past you and almost hits you as well. But you are now restrained by the original webbing, Kneecap, but also grappled by the shadow web.
Hmm.
And then the creature that is at the top of the stairs in the shadows is going to use reel and yank you 60 feet up the stairs. Like you're not actually moving a full 60 feet, but it could move up to 60 feet at this point. But we'll say it's 30 feet. You're yanked up the stairs into the shadows. Malleus, because you are stuck, I'm going to give you the choice. You were not hit by the web, and so you're not automatically reeled. I'm giving you the choice then to either let this pull Kneecap away from you and you stay where you are, or get pulled along with him.
Oh no,
Oh,
I'm
man.
going too.
Okay, all right. So I think what the rest of you see then is across this room, there's the one Ettercap who had been dragging Kneecap and Malleus right there. And then all of a sudden, Kneecap and Malleus are both yanked back up all the way up the stairs into the shadows.
And was there a roll for me to get hit by that?
Yes.
By the shadow? Okay.
And it was a 26 to hit.
Okay. Okay.
I only didn't mention the roll because I rolled it first and I just wanted to describe the image everyone else sees because no one else has even seen what
this
this
is.
was. But now at the top of the stairs, Malleus and Kneecap see this. This is I've just shared Darkweaver.
Mhm.
Oi!
Oy vey, don't like that at all.
Yeah.
That might be worth a little bit of fire.
Right. And
Fire,
and so
fire now, fire.
having
Yes.
yanked you up towards it, it is now going to try to bite Kneecap, and it gets a crit.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
Okay, so that's gonna be 16 piercing damage,
Okay.
and let's see.
On save?
No con save. And 37 necrotic damage.
Woo!
16 plus 37.
It's
Mhm.
a
53.
high number.
Mhm.
Um, let's
Yeah.
see. I could.
And
If you
also
could
your
reduce that, that would be nice.
Thing is, I won't be
Um,
able to reduce it by much.
also here's the thing. That 37 necrotic damage, your hit point maximum is reduced by that.
And that
Oh.
that makes instant death more likely.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay. So, well,
Well, I know I've got
if
the.
you could try cutting, it's cutting words.
Yeah, it's cutting words. So
You can't
expand
see
the
it
bardic.
though. I think you need to be able to see it, don't you?
Well, when a creature I can see within 60 feet. So
Yeah.
You can see-
Unfortunately, yeah. You
can't see.
Can't see it.
But
But
I hope there's
yeah.
enough in here to like res you.
Wow.
So does that have
I
you
mean,
unconscious?
I was at 50 HP.
Okay. So unconscious and your hit point maximum is whatever it was minus 37 at the moment.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so Malleus, it doesn't have any more attacks for you just now, but you just witnessed that terrible thing. But
Oh, good
now,
lord.
Radius, it is your turn, and I think all you know at this point is that Kneecap and Malleus were yanked up the stairs.
Right. I will move. I'm gonna move up my maximum speed of my 30 feet. Do I see that? Does that get me to the base of the stairs?
I think so, and you could probably get partway up the stairs if you chose. But I think when you get to the base of the stairs, you do see this thing in the shadows up there.
I don't want to be any closer than this. But that being said, we are just gonna go ahead and whip out a Tasha's Mind Whip.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay, is that that's a saving throw?
Yes.
Intelligence.
Intelligence.
Okay. Let me put this token up on the. Okay.
Oh.
Intelligence save. That is a critical fail. Natural 1.
Woo
Yay!
woo!
All
Ugh.
right. You need
So
that badly.
so it takes 14 points of psychic damage, and now it on its next turn it must choose whether it gets to move or take an action or bonus action.
Okay.
Yeah, it can only have one of the three.
14.
Yay.
Okay. Make that a
So
little
let's hope it
purple dot
doesn't-
to remind me.
And let's hope it doesn't choose to eat you as its action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. So,
Yeah, all of you behind Radius, you see Radius run up to the base of the stairs and then just reach up out of it. He pulls out his spell book, and you see Tilly speak up and kind of go, "Oh my!" And then he casts this spell up the stairs.
all right. Okay. Tarsus. That would be your turn.
Tarsus looks at this, analyzes this quickly, advances to stand next to Radius, and will, with Planet Warrior, shoot a force arrow at this creature that has a kneecap in dire peril here.
Make the attack roll with disadvantage because of its
Oh,
shadowy
disadvantage.
form.
Okay, let me roll another one then. So the disadvantage is a 17.
Okay, 17 does still hit.
Okay.
Remember, there is also the other Ettercap still at the bottom.
Oh,
of the stairs,
I know,
right?
but
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the dangerous
I know.
one.
I'm
Dangerous
just
throw.
reminding you that it's
Oh,
still
I've
in
not
play.
forgotten.
All right,
Yep,
so
so
that's
10.
10.
10 force damage.
All right. Yeah,
against this creature.
it hisses in pain and it's kind of shaking its head, trying to clear whatever it was that Radius did to it.
All right, that is my. I don't think I have any real bonus actions at this point, so no.
Okay, Cuspid.
Okay, as a bonus action, I pull a few teeth out of the pouch at my belt and cast Magic Stone, and then huck one of them at the Ettercap that I've got hexed.
Nice.
Oh, natural one.
Natural 1.
Oh, boo! No.
Yeah, I think Radius that it whistles right by your head and like sticks into the wall right next to you.
Radius goes, "Is that a tooth?"
It's a tooth.
Of course.
All right, are you staying where
Bite
you are
me.
otherwise?
Oh no.
Okay. So it is now the Ettercap's turn, and it doesn't like being ganged up on when it can go up and hang out with Daddy. So it's going to try to run up the stairs. But
Daddy.
Radius and Tarsus are both right there and could potentially make opportunity attacks if you have them prepared.
I don't think I can make an opportunity attack with a bow, can I?
It would be at disadvantage. Actually, I think
Okay.
opportunity attack does have to be melee. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can make an unarmed strike.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I'll give an armed strike. Why not? Let's see what happens. No, not even close. Not my forte.
How about you, Radius?
Oh no, I have no way of attacking out without
right.
my. Well, I'm good.
Okay, so it runs up the stairs, and let's see, does it get its web back? Whoops. How about a D6 instead of a D8? No, it doesn't. So it is going to run up the stairs, and it is also going to. You know what? I think. Yeah, I mean, this is the little one is dumb. It's going to go for the easy target. And so it is going to bite at Kneecap.
Well,
So that is a 13 to hit.
I have AC 16.
Oh. So I guess it you know it chomps onto your flail again.
Wow.
and then you watch as a single tear drips down from
Oh.
each one of its 8 eyes.
So sad.
Or actually, maybe from just 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I'm actually for the second time that happens, I'm gonna make it take a d6 of damage. Wow, that's 5 damage. All right.
Wow.
Nice.
5 bite damage. Doesn't like that, but it is going to claw at you instead then, which is a 21 with advantage because you're prone and unconscious, and that's going to be 5 slashing damage. Because you're incapacitated, it counts as a crit. That is 2 failed death saving throws.
Yep.
Oh my god. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is terrible. Terrible
Yeah.
bad.
So, I will also just say at this point, everyone, and I'm sure everyone is understanding of this, but I'll say it out loud anyway. Trust me. Okay. Cora.
So I'm going to move forward so that I can see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately second level healing word on the barb.
You are our cleric.
Oh, 7, but that should stabilize, I
Hey.
believe.
Yeah, it would bring you to 7 hit points if your maximum is. What is your maximum now?
My maximum is 20.
Okay, so yeah, you are at 7 hit points, but you are conscious. All right.
Yeah, go ahead, get angry.
All right.
Yeah.
Malleus, you are now flanked between the Ettercap and the Darkweaver.
Okay.
And
so
although Kneecap is awake again, he is still restrained in the webbing.
right. So one question before I do the thing that I was planning on doing.
Mhm.
Is the webbing, have they dropped the webbing, or is it still attached to whomever?
The webbing that is on Kneecap was sprayed out and released, so they're wrapped up but not like connected to anything else.
Okay.
The webbing that the Darkweaver shot Kneecap with is still attached.
Okay. So that's okay. So first thing, bonus action, Draconic Cry, so that all y'all have advantage hitting the things within 10 feet of me.
All right.
Oh, how long does that
Alrighty.
last?
Just one round. I
It
think.
doesn't. No, I don't think it.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
one round.
it is one
10
round.
feet. Yeah, until the start of my next turn.
Yeah.
My
Yep, so
allies
each
have
of us get it
advantage
once.
attack rolls.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's very fun, but it is one
Yeah.
round. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
What is your
So-
Draconic Cry?
Uh,
It can be words
I-
or it can just be a sound. You don't have to actually make it. You can just describe it
Yeah.
if you prefer.
Godzilla
I
roar.
think.
I mean,
I think. I think it is the closest thing that a kobold can make to an actual like dragon's roar, which sounds a little bit squeakier than it should, but
Wow.
he's
Kneecap is
kind of
filled with
Working
pride.
on it.
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah, it's a work in
Yeah.
progress.
I just
Yep.
feel like it's.
Yeah,
I feel like it's. I feel like it's Ickis from Our Real Monsters. Like
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
is
So
that your
that's my bonus
bonus
action.
action? Okay.
My actual action. I want to cast Thunderwave,
Okay.
but would that hurt Kneecap?
I think that Thunderwave, the way Thunderwave works on a map is it's a 3x3 square where you are on like one of the sides, right?
Uh-huh.
And so what I'll say is in this current situation where you're at the top of a stairway, the Darkweaver on one side, the Ettercap on the other side, and Kneecap essentially like at your feet.
Oh,
I'd say you can pick one or the other of the enemies to cast it on, and the other it won't get.
I'm gonna get the Addercap.
Okay.
If I can avoid hitting Kneecap, I want to get the Addercap.
Yes, you
Or
can.
no, not the no. I'm sorry, the Dark Weaver.
Okay,
the
well,
big
all
giant
right.
spider.
Yeah,
yeah,
right. Gotcha. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So that's a Constitution save for them.
Yes, Constitution 15.
Okay. They got a 16.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
So
At least
Wait,
half.
cutting words, I think. Let
a
me check
successful
if
save.
features. Cutting words.
I think if you, yeah, okay. Go
He
ahead.
Makes
does-
an ability. It makes an attack roll, ability check, or damage roll. Not.
nope.
All right, so he takes 7 points of
Okay.
thunder damage, and he's
Alright.
not pushed away.
All right. He does take that. Okay. All right. Are you gonna try to move at all? I mean, if you actually, I think you kind of can't. You're blocked.
Yeah, I'm blocked in, and I'm still got my hands kind of caught up in this webbing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Kneecap, you are still
Wow.
restrained, but you are now
Oh,
conscious
boy.
again. Not feeling great.
And Kneecap is very angry.
Yep, go ahead.
And his hair starts to flow up, and there's even just a little bit of fiery glow that comes from his body.
Mhm.
And you know, where he was yelling a lot, he actually goes silent as he fills out. And yes, he is raging.
Okay.
So
So,
that
the rage is going to do 2 fire damage to both of the spider creatures. Correct?
yes.
All right.
burn,
also
And
baby,
Malleus.
burn.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, and it's going to do 2 fire damage to the webbing around you. Excuse me, which has the webbing has AC 10, 5 hit points, and is vulnerable to fire damage, which means 2 becomes 4, which means it's got 1 hit point left. You are not free of the webs yet, but they're burning away as we speak.
Okay. So that was my bonus action. So I'm going to attack the Dark Weaver.
Okay. I
Uh,
assume.
Recklessly, so I get regular. So that is
Okay. Yeah.
24 to hit.
All right. That'll hit. Yeah.
For 9 reduced to 8.
Okay. Yeah.
Go.
I think I think probably only you and Malleus are close enough to see though that the
It doesn't.
the web from it hits the Dark Weaver. The Dark Weaver takes the damage, but I was going to say the web that it shot out at you does not seem to have the same vulnerability to fire damage that the Addercap's web did. Like it still takes 2 fire damage, but it looks tougher and not as prone to fire damage.
Yeah. And in a more normal for Kneecap voice, he says, "Go and live."
Mm.
All right. It is now the Dark Weaver's turn again. It's going to use 2 shadow web attacks. One is against Malleus, which I think is actually at disadvantage because you are right there. So let me roll that. It's still a 20 to hit.
Ooh.
Oh, hang on. Where is the... Oh, okay. You know what? This attack should be doing damage as well. I won't retcon or anything, but Malleus, it does 21 necrotic damage to you when it hits.
Oh.
And you are
Alright,
now
well-
grappled by it.
Now, at least that I can see, I'm going to cutting words the damage on that.
Okay. How does that work?
So basically, I roll a die. And
Okay, sure.
and I roll the bardic inspiration die, and it
It looks
just,
like
in this case, it reduces the damage by 1.
Well,
but
you know
that's
what?
still less damage.
Yeah. 20 necrotic damage instead of 21.
Oh my gosh.
Malleus. I think Tarsus, you get the other one.
Yeah.
It's shooting down.
Lava's target.
Kneecap is still grappled by the web that it hit him before. To get you, Tarsus, is a 20 to hit
So 20 will hit me.
for 13 necrotic damage.
Yikes. Okay.
And then both Malleus and Kneecap are already pulled up close to it, but it reels Tarsus in as well up to where the Ettercap is.
Getting crowded up
Ah.
there.
I
Mhm.
don't like this trust up approach.
And then now that Kneecap has woken up, it is going to bite you again
Hmm.
with advantage.
Oh, Kneecap.
It's advantage, so the natural 1 doesn't count, but the 17 does.
Ugh.
Okay.
All right, and that is 16 piercing and 14 necrotic.
Mm.
And as before, that's going to reduce your maximum hit points to by another 14, which I believe has it at 6 now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But out.
Yeah. Okay. And that is the Darkweaver, and I believe that it is going to. I think it is going to start dragging both Malleus and Kneecap around the corner into the upper level room. So it can't get you very far. Let's see. Okay. I was going to say it's at quarter speed, so it gets 10 feet up, but it gets you around a corner, so you don't have line of sight from the bottom of the stairs anymore. Okay. So Tarsus, you are not pulled around the corner because you're still blocked by the Ettercap.
Oh, yeah, that's not exactly an improvement, but okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes it Radius, your turn.
Yeah, this is not a great situation, Radius. Help.
So I'm guessing I can't see the Darkweaver anymore, huh?
No, it's 30 feet up to the top of the stairs, and then it's around the corner, which you would be able to see it if you got to the top. But the Ettercap and Tarsus are in the way.
Alrighty, man, I'm burning through spell slots.
Remember that you've got advantage on attack rolls this round.
From the Draconic
the-
Yell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the Endercap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On anything.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Which does the Endercap look rough that's fighting?
Yeah, it's pretty
Tarsus?
hurt.
Okay, good. Then I will bonus action. Oh man, this is gonna burn. Bonus action Misty Step
Okay.
to the top of the stairs.
There you go.
And now I will then sacrifice my last secondary spell slot and do magic missile.
Okay.
Two at the Endercap, 2 at the Darkweaver.
Okay.
Pew pew.
Yep. And there you go. So last one. Blah, 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 blah.
So I need the damage roll for each dart.
Come on. 2 points.
Okay. Well, so it's 4 points for each of them.
Yep.
Neither is taken down by that.
And I will then move, and since I have my movement, I will move back down towards the Endercap away from the Darkweaver because I don't want to be grabbed.
Yeah. Well, hey, fair enough. I don't blame you. Okay. So Tarsus, it is now your turn.
Okay, so I'm bound in this web in front of this that's tied to the Darkweaver around the corner.
Grappled by the shadow web from the Darkweaver.
Okay. I'm going to try to break free of this grapple. So that's a strength check?
Yes. You can make athletics or acrobatics, whichever is better for you.
Oh, athletics is better.
Yeah,
I'm
either
I have
one.
that trained, so I'm a good roll of fortune. Can this help? Yeah, not with that roll. I'm not.
Oh boy,
God,
6 is not gonna do it.
No,
Yeah.
I pull.
Didn't you say acrobatics is better?
No, athletics was better.
Oh,
And that's why I rolled.
Oh.
Yeah, no, my acrobatics is 3, my
Okay.
athletics is 4, but yeah, no,
Yeah, and
not-
so unfortunately you are grappled, which means you used your action and your movement is 0 at the moment.
Yep, so that's that's what I've got at the moment. I don't think I have anything as a bonus action that's really useful here. No. Okay.
Okay, Cuspid.
All right, that Ettercap is still up.
Yeah.
I scream. Cuspid screams her war cry, teeth, and runs up to him to smack him with her warhammer.
All right.
Attacking with advantage. 14.
A 14 does hit.
Okay.
I thought about giving him
Um,
half cover because technically Tarsus is grappled between you in it, but I'll allow it here.
Yeah,
I'm inclined at the moment to be a little bit forgiving.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
7 points of bludgeoning damage
Bonk damage.
plus
Ooh, oh, the hex, right?
Yes.
yeah.
6 points of necrotic.
All right,
Nice.
you crunch its spidery head in,
All right.
and it collapses with a hiss. And then,
And if I can get to where I have line of sight, I would use a bonus action to transfer the hex to the Dark Reader.
because you didn't have like a misty step or anything, you can get to the top, but you will be out of movement there, and you won't be able to move back about around the corner.
That's fine.
Okay.
Just up there and transfer the hex.
Gotcha. You have done that.
Okay.
Okay. It would have
that's
been
my turn.
All right. It would have been the Ettercap's turn, but it's now dead.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cora.
Cuspid.
All right, because unfortunately, y'all are in the way for my other 2 spells.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm a
So
better door
even
to the
if you
window.
can squeeze
But-
by your friends, it's 3 people in a row on a single file staircase.
Well, it's more of, can I get up the stairs enough to see the Dark Weaver?
No, it's
because you were all the way at the bottom,
Yeah.
so it would be a full movement to get to the top, even if there wasn't anyone in the way.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Now, if you used your action, yes, you could push past, but
Right.
but yeah. And Healing Word is a bonus action,
Yeah.
but then you
That's
also you kind of put yourself right there. So I mean,
All right. Well, what I'll. Okay. So we've got 3 people with damage. I could reach up and just touch Tarsus, I believe. Right? Or maybe not.
yeah, I mean, you could touch Tarsus, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to move up next to Tarsus and just
I think
straight pure-
technically the order everyone's standing in is Cuspid, Tarsus, Radius, but I'll allow that you could touch Tarsus.
Well, I'll reach through Radius to touch Tarsus and
Gotcha.
heal
Yeah,
him
no,
for 8.
Gotcha.
Thank you. I'll take
Okay.
it.
All right. Malleus. Things are not going great. I would say also, for that matter, it is. I think you have dark vision, but I would say up here it's dark again because you're around the corner from the light spell.
Wait, isn't
Malleus?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you have more on
Is
your
it-
turn?
isn't our barbarian still fiery?
No,
Not if
No,
they're
not if
Oh,
he's
it went
unconscious.
unconscious
it's
again.
unconscious again.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it,
Okay.
with the
Well-
back, it was 6.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm.
shit. Because I'm not great. And he's not great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn a spell slot to turn my Eldritch Cannon from a Force Ballista to a Protector.
Okay.
How does that work?
And
It grants
what
temporary hit points, I think.
it grants temporary hit points. 1d8 plus my intelligence modifier.
Okay.
And my intelligence modifier is 5.
All right.
So I'm going to have to roll that. Oh, 13.
Okay.
So 13 temporary hit points.
For you and for, well, so temporary
Anybody
hit
within 10 feet of my tiny force ballista.
Okay. Well, and so I think temporary hit points do not bring an unconscious person conscious. However, would absorb damage that would otherwise be done to them.
Yeah.
That's what makes sense to me.
Yeah. And so that's my
okay.
action, and
And I think only Cuspid is left in. Well, I think you could maybe get Cuspid too,
yeah.
because
Okay.
Cuspid is the only one in line of sight on the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the distance is within 10 feet, or
Yeah, I would say because they
Yeah.
they only dragged you 10 feet around the corner. So
okay.
yeah, so I'll say Cuspid can get those 13 temporary hit points as well.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's your action though.
Yeah, that's my action,
Okay.
and I think bonus action, I'm going to do the Draconic Cry again.
Okay.
And scream at it, and hopefully, these guys can kill it before it makes both of us dead.
Okay. So that's great. I love it. Real quick, I do want to just check in. We are at 10, so we could end on a cliffhanger, or if you want to try to finish the combat, we could also do that. I just want to check in with
I'm
everybody.
fine either way.
I'm
I'd
fine
like
to.
I'm fine to finish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're,
Yeah, I'm
we're
golden.
certainly that would be a mean cliffhanger.
That would be an awful cliffhanger.
Well, it might be a mean finish to the combat too, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
okay, so we'll keep going for the meantime then. So Kneecap, you're unconscious, so make a death saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
That's
Oh, no.
a 9.
Fine.
Oh,
That's a
that's a
failure. So
And you don't really have a lot of
um,
memories to go with.
you know what? I think it will be fun to still do our house rule about the memories. And this is one of the ways that you can recover memories. So
Nice.
give us
Cool.
a negative memory that you will now remember.
It is a memory of Kneecap arguing with someone who, someone that is not quite visible. It's like, someone, he's arguing with someone, begging them to not go, begging them to stay here, stay safe. And, but it goes and just something gets torn from him.
Hmm. All right. So it is now the Darkweaver's turn. It's going to send a shadow web attack at Cuspid.
Okay.
But that's only a 9 to hit.
That does not hit.
No, you evade this strange, dark, thick strand of spider web.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is going to try again because it has 2 of those.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, that's a critical.
All right.
Yeah. So that is going to be 40 necrotic damage.
Holy Hannah.
Glad I
Okay.
gave you those
That's-
temporary hit points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still up. Hellish Rebuke.
Okay.
Dexterity
Yeah.
save DC 14.
Dex save. It got a. You know what? I was about to say dirty 20, but I have recently become a convert to the idea of, instead of saying a dirty 20, finding other ways to say it. Like one way I heard is a gentleman's 20. But that's also
Okay.
kind of gendered. So I feel like there's gentlefolks 20. We could think of.
Call it a baker's
Alright.
20.
I want it a baker's 20. is
Baker's
fun.
20.
Baker's
is
20
fun.
sounds
Here's
interesting.
funny.
I like Baker's
I like
20. Yeah, so it's a Baker's 20, which means
And we're
that
in what
they-
should be
they
a
still
bake
take-
shop later. So
Yeah.
All right. So
They take
the
half?
23 points of fire damage is halved to
Okay.
11.
All right, they do take that. And I think the flare of this fiery rebuke does briefly illuminate this thing in the darkness, and it still looks very scary.
Yeah.
And then it is going to bite.
Oh no.
It is
Oh,
going
no.
to bite Kneecap, and it's going to do 13 piercing and 9 necrotic, which will then reduce the max hit points to 0. And this is where I have asked everyone for trust. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
but so that seems bad.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
so now that is its turn. Radius, your turn.
Well,
I will say this thing is not bloodied, but it has taken a fair amount of damage. It's close to that.
okay.
hmm. Wow, I'm out of. Hmm. There's not a lot.
This is a tough fight for you. I know.
Yeah, there's not a lot. There's not. Not gonna.
Remember
Alright,
that
then.
you got advantage on attack rolls.
Right. You know what? Let's do it. We'll go with. We're just gonna go back at the top of the stairs and firebolt this thing.
All right. Make your attack with disadvantage because of its shadowy form.
Well, no,
Wait.
but through Draconic Cry.
Oh, you're
Oh, it
right.
evens
So
out,
yes,
yeah.
so regular attack then. Okay, 17 does hit.
Yeah,
For-
3
for
points
the-
of fire
3
damage,
points. All right.
and I will then move back around the corner.
Okay. I think we've got everybody who is not already up at the top of the stairs on the stairs close enough that you can kind of shuffle around between you so that you
Okay.
don't have to have, not everybody has to
Right.
go up and be in line of sight because it's obviously potentially nasty. The other thing that I didn't say before because I was so in a hurry to have the bite kill Kneecap. The hit that you got from the shadow web, Cuspid, you are yanked off your feet right up to this thing, the
Okay.
Dark
Boy.
Weaver, and you are
And,
grappled still by it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that is, we did Radius's turn. Tarsus.
Okay, so I'm grappled by this thing. So
Mm-hmm.
can I still shoot a bow at the?
You don't have line of sight. You're around the
That's,
corner.
you're right. I'm around the corner.
But
And
what
I
you
can't
can
move.
you can try again with the athletics check, or you can
Right.
attack the webbing.
You know what?
But it is like dark and tough compared to regular webbing.
Yeah, I think the athletics is probably a better shot. So I'm going to try to break free again.
All right.
Anyone who sees can see the two eyes kind of his blue and green eyes burn as he tries to break free of this thing. And that is a 19.
A 19 is a success. So that is your action, but you
That's
are
my
now
action.
no longer grappled.
Perfect. I will move slightly so I can get this thing to see this thing that's binding my friend so that I can
Okay.
work on it.
What I would actually suggest, just tactically, is the way this thing works is that if you don't have any further action economy in this turn, you might want to go ahead and still stay out of line of sight because otherwise it can attack.
You're right. I should backpedal. Okay. I will backpedal and get out of line of
You
sight.
can
Okay.
get ready to do a thing next time if it doesn't web you again.
Yep. Yes.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So I'm backpedaling. Okay. But I'm free and that's great.
Yes, gotcha. Cuspid, you are grappled but not restrained. And you're right there in this thing's face now.
Yeah. So I have advantage.
Yeah.
So I get a straight roll if I smack at it.
Yes.
Phew.
If Cora's light spell that's on her armor, I think, illuminates it again, you won't have the shadowy form advantage
Oh,
anymore.
okay, okay. But it's not doing that right now.
Correct. Right now, it's still in the
Okay.
dark of the upstairs, so that creates a
Okay.
disadvantage that cancels out your draconic cry
Right.
advantage.
So I'll say, Cora, show your light on this thing. And I will hold my action to smack it once she does so.
Okay. Great. Love that. Cora, it's your turn.
All right. So, um, is there like anything like at the landing or whatever of these stairs that I can cast the light onto?
Yeah, I think you can cast it to on a spot. So what I'll say
But I have to
is
touch it, so
yeah. So what I would say is to do that would be your action, but it would allow the light to stay there regardless of where you are.
that's
Alternate.
my
Well,
that's my
yeah,
idea.
that works. That works. The other thing I
Or
was
you
just
could-
going to say is if you move up to illuminate it and let Cuspid attack, you could then do your action and then move back out of line of sight. But then the light would go away when you move back. So however you want to handle it, it's your turn.
What's
Actually,
the light on Tarsus?
I've got one on Tarsus, but
For that matter, you have enough movement. You could run up and cast it on Cuspid.
yeah, I was about to say, like, all right, you want light, you get light.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
You are now
Ah,
bright.
Yes.
The
Okay.
sunshine.
You can now very clearly see how awful this thing is.
Oh, yeah.
Feel
So,
free to go ahead and attack now with advantage.
oh, crap.
Oh no, an
Ah.
11,
Man,
even with
alive.
advantage. Unfortunately, it deflects your blow with one of its horrible long spider legs.
All right.
Worst daddy long legs. Do not want.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
Yeah.
this thing. It's awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a
I
fan.
Yeah,
am.
great art. Great art.
Mm-hmm.
Awful
Great
thing.
art.
I am going to risk a attack of opportunity and.
Well, remember
and,
that was your held action to attack. It
Oh,
wasn't your still
that was
turn.
yeah. It's not still my turn.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
All right.
Cora, did you go back out of line of sight then after casting the light spell?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense that you would. All right, Malleus, that makes it your turn.
Hey. I want to do. Hold on. I want to check my protector again because I think it. Burst of positive energy that grants itself and each creature of your choice within 10 feet of it a number of 10 temporary hit points. So I think if I set it off again, it'll reset the temporary hit points.
It will refresh them. Only for you and for so for example, if you roll less than the 13, if you still have the 13, you can keep the 13. But because Cuspid lost that, they will get the new number.
Right. So that is actually a bonus action to do that. It was an action to change it to the protector, and then it was a bonus action to set it off. We use bonus action, set it off again. So that let's roll that for more temporary hit points. That is 11 temporary hit points.
Okay.
For Cuspid, I still have my 13,
Yeah.
and
Not that that's going to make a whole lot of damage if this thing gets me again.
yeah.
Well, it was a crit before, but still.
Yeah. The for the action, I want to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay.
Which is 11 again.
Okay.
All right, so I'm a little bit better off than I was, but yeah, I can't do Draconic Cry again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And movement. Do I have the ability to pull back?
You're grappled.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to verify.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still right here.
Sticky situation.
Yes, very much so.
This thing's nasty.
Yeah.
But you have been hurting it. So like, if y'all can continue to do damage to it, you've been whittling it down. It is injured.
Yes. Helpful explosions.
All right, but it is its turn now.
Yes.
I think
Hey, kneecap is just dead.
yeah.
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 Oh.
The I think that like the only enemies that it can see are the one Cuspid and Malleus who are already right near it.
Yeah.
It is going to, I think, try to bite Malleus next.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I figured.
Um, it only gets a 12 though.
That does not hit.
Oh well, lucky you.
Yeah.
What
Armor
do you?
class 15.
So does it? It just like manages to it tries to get its pincers, but unfortunately they hit a harder part of your scales,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
fancy golden
My
ones.
my nice shiny scales.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. So I think it's not using its shadow web because it's not trying to grab anyone to pull closer to it. So
Right.
that is the end of its turn. Radius.
Alrighty. Radius is gonna come up the stairs again, and
You can now see it better. You don't have advantage anymore, but you wouldn't have disadvantage either.
right. Let's. You know what? I'm gonna save those spell slots. We'll try another We'll try another firebolt. Nat 20.
There you go.
Nice.
A
Good,
nat-
baby.
Woo, there we
Very
go.
good.
Now
There we
roll,
go.
roll good on the damage.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
are we doing the
12 points. All right, it's
Well,
like
no,
12
so it
points,
looks
yeah.
like that's only a single roll. So you get roll one more.
Oh,
d10.
roll one more. Oh.
Well, okay. So So what was the house rule that we settled on? Because we
It
talked
was
about this.
minimum damage of the maximum die.
Okay, so that would mean that for a D10, as the single D10 would be the normal damage, that means you'll get 10 or better. So roll one more D10, and it will be 10 minimum or. Oh look, so 6 plus
There,
8 is 14, so you get 14. All right, 14 fire damage,
Yep.
And do I have a bonus action that I can
and it
do?
is now bloodied.
Ugh.
So it's even grosser than it was before.
Yeah.
Who looks the most messed up out of everybody I can see?
Well, other than kneecap,
I've got 8 points left.
yeah. So
But I also
And-
have some temporary.
well, yeah,
so.
8 plus 11 temporary. But
Yeah. So Cuspid is the worse off of the two of us.
All right. So then, as a bonus action, as right before I go behind my thing, I'll throw a healing word at you
Okay.
for not bad, 3 points,
Okay.
and I will
Everyone-
dip back around the corner.
Okay. Tarsus.
Okay, I like the dipping around the corner and doing stuff and dipping back around again. So I will do that and try to shoot this thing that's ended one of my friends. Has got two others all bound up. So let's try the good old planner warrior arrow shot to this evil creature and see what we can do with it. That is a 21.
Certainly
Nice.
hits.
So that's 8 from the bow, and from the planner warrior, another 3 for a total of 11 force
Okay.
damage.
Yeah.
Now backpedal.
All right.
Backpedal.
Cuspid.
All right.
I will offer that perhaps a thought that does cross your mind at this point is that if you survive this, you should go ask for more money from that guy.
Yeah.
God, yes.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If nothing else, there's a revival we
Can
need.
I'm doing a Hail Mary here because this is really going badly.
Yeah.
Can I cast the area of a sleep spell so that it only affects it's a 20-foot radius sphere?
Yeah.
Because if I cast it,
and it
it's
doesn't
going to
have to
affect
be.
us
You
before.
you can have. So this is this thing is only a medium creature. It's not. It's like it's
Yeah.
got long, horrible legs, but it's not that big otherwise.
Mhm.
But I think that the space that it's in is enough that like that's the range that you could center the sphere on.
Within 90 feet.
Oh yeah, so I think yeah you can place it so that only the Darkweaver is within that.
All right. I'm gonna
range.
cast sleep.
Okay.
Um,
Um.
so
Yeah.
let me see how many I roll 7d8 for the number of hit points. And I'm
Um.
basically hoping
You know
for
what? Because I'm inclined to be generous at the moment,
Mhm.
this thing has more hit points than that.
Okay. All right. So even if I got a 56, it probably wouldn't be enough.
No.
All right. Well, in that case, um, in that case, uh, yeah, it's gonna just keep chewing on people.
Yeah.
Um, man.
I will also remind you all that it did this. You suspect this is the thing that telepathically talked to
Yeah,
you
yeah.
before, so
Yeah.
it is potentially something that you could
All right.
negotiate with.
Yeah. It's like, all right. I'm gonna, uh, um, uh, leave now and we'll let you live. And I'm gonna make an intimidation check.
Yeah, go for it.
21.
That's pretty good. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's not its turn yet, so I don't think you know.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty good
Keep the
intimidation.
no.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I'm also, can I, as part of that, can I use Fey Presence to
Oh.
make a wisdom saving throw or become frightened?
Yeah. For sure. So I'll have it
Here
make the
is a
wisdom
my
saving
car.
throw, which is relatively good at. So it did get a 19.
Okay,
So I
well,
don't think it's frightened on top of that, but yeah. So here's the thing. Okay.
forgot I had that.
I'm going I'm going to briefly pause us in initiative here
Mhm.
because I think it's a pretty good intimidation. You've also got it below half hit points and killed all of
Yeah.
its friends already.
Yeah,
And there's a bunch of you. So like
yeah,
it's not a for sure thing for it and it is smart.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that it will sort of you say that and I think there will be a beat and then it will all of you in your heads it will say let me keep the one I have killed and I will leave.
Okay, back into initiative.
All right. Well, so Cora, it would be your turn now. So it says that you can now do what you like.
All right. I am going to. All right. Is there a spot that I could go next to it and do a 15-foot cone and not hit anyone who might be on the
I
ground?
will say yes.
All right. I am going to see what. Well, it's probably got a pretty good deck save, but
It does. Yeah.
well, of course it does, because
Yeah.
it's this. But
All right. Should I
hopefully,
have it make the
so
deck
I'm
save?
going for a spray of cards,
Oh, okay.
which is it makes a deck save. My DC's
Okay.
14.
Yeah, it did get a 26.
Okay, so it's only half damage.
Okay.
And unfortunately is not blinded.
Okay.
But
That's a fun
it's
spell
all
though.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all force damage too.
Okay. Yeah, so it definitely takes that damage and it has
And then I duck back.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
And I am going
Do you
to
say leave the
bonus
gnome?
bonus action healing word on.
You can't use two
Yeah.
spells in the same round.
Yeah,
Oh,
unfortunately.
even
no.
Needs to
if
be a
one's a
level
bonus.
spell
Damn
or
it.
Like
All right.
yeah, if one is a cantrip, that's allowed. Otherwise, no.
But healing word's not. All right. Never mind.
Sorry.
Oh, it was
Okay.
worth a shot.
Yeah. So
Do you
Malleus.
say leave the gnome?
Well, you clearly attacked instead of responding to its offer, so it sounds like a no.
I'm not leaving the gnome behind.
uh,
Yeah.
Okay, Malleus, what do you do?
Okay, it's pretty good at con saves.
Yeah, it's just got good saves.
Yeah. But that's pretty much my biggest boom for my buck right now. Yeah, I'm gonna do Thunderwave again.
Okay.
Constitution 15.
All right. It did get a 19,
Yep. So it only takes 3 damage.
but still,
Damage is damage.
it sure is.
Yeah.
And so now it would be its turn again, and I think after it made a counter offer and then got attacked twice more, you hear it saying, "Okay, okay, let me leave, and I will leave the food here."
Okay.
And so
I'll let it leave if it wants to leave with everything we came in with.
it does bundle up in webs the 2 dead ettercaps,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's fine.
and
That's
it kind of
fine.
like tucks them onto its back as little bundles, and then it's like trundling along like a mule with
Saddlebags.
saddlebags on it. And as it goes out the door, it quickly scuttles across the dim light, and then starts trying to squeeze through like a sewer grate, and then it can't because it's got the bundles tied to it, and it's really awkward, and like takes a second for it to like disconnect them and then duck through, and like, but it does leave, and it's gone.
Okay,
And
so question.
yes,
Does Priscilla scream when she sees this thing?
Parisa.
Parisa.
Parisa, does she scream?
I think that you get what
She's
you're
seen a
not
lot.
sure what language it is, but you, I think, get that it's less a scream and more of like a, "Oh, holy shit," but it's in some other language.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing. Like, obviously you've let it go. You've now cleared the building, but still there, wrapped up, not moving, not breathing, is your friend Kneecap. But as you are taking a moment to process this,
And like cut him away from the webs
Yeah,
away from
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Right,
So all
yeah.
of you can like
Just-
take the time now to cut the webs off of you, and
Mm-hmm.
but as you are kind of processing this, there's a wardrobe over across the room, this room that it was in, and you start hearing a weird like thump, 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 thump.
I walk over to the wardrobe since I'm and investigate it.
It seems like something's inside thumping to get out.
I will.
First it's a mortuary slab, now it's a wardrobe.
I will open up the wardrobe.
And I will be behind them, ready to. Just,
Yeah, yeah. I have my friends behind me to protect me.
So, David, what alternate version of Kneecap tumbles out of the wardrobe?
Wow.
Nice.
Like, it can just be any different version of Kneecap.
Hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
think Loki. You've seen Loki, right?
Yes, like a variant.
Yeah, like a variant. There we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I
again,
actually
this
haven't
can be
seen that,
anything.
but
It can be.
I have the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. This is a version of Kneecap that is heavily tattooed across the face.
Mhm.
And otherwise looks the same, but just heavily tattooed.
Okay.
Like almost like, kids that go on the line
Mhm.
on paper to just fill it in. Kind of
And-
like that.
And so, as each of you look at this new kneecap, and kneecap as you look at the others, you all feel a brief return of that strange, like glitching, fracturing of reality just for a moment, and then it fades again. But kneecap, you remember waking up in the mortuary with these 5, but weren't they a little different? Wait, is that what happened? It's a little fuzzy. You kind of remember them, but you're not sure how you got in the wardrobe. And wait, is that your own body lying there?
What? Who? Wait.
Yeah, and I think that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Wow.
That is so awesome.
So,
That's a better spot, so leave it.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
I like
So
that.
here's what, before we actually cut away with the stream, I can now reveal to you the mechanic that was kept hidden, which is essentially, effectively, you can't die. If you die, a variant of yourself replaces you.
So if we do a variant, can we like have a different class?
Yes. In fact,
Okay.
I want you to plan, at least in your own mind, 3 versions of your character. Can be different
Okay.
class, different race, whatever. The character, if they appear because you die, they will have their starting equipment when they show up only. However, if you're attuned to a magical item, you will be still attuned to it when you
Okay.
show up as the new variant.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. However, you won't have it on you. It will be
Yes.
with your dead body.
Right.
Okay.
And
Right.
so,
Okay, that's awesome. That's
yes.
awesome.
So, you are all experiencing a multiversal glitch that if you should have 3 versions of yourself, because if you die, a new version of you pops in to take your place.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
like I
Wow.
said, memories are still kind of hazy, but you do kind of remember. You don't have to like show up like a stranger every time.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But we can also have images in our head of what the rest of the party was
Yeah.
Mhm.
in our
It's
variation.
like, wait, weren't you yeah.
Yeah, weren't you a dragonborn?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, you have glitch characters. This is the secret mechanic of this adventure.
Yay.
And now that it has happened once, I'm revealing it to you. So,
Ooh, this
Wow.
this can be fun.
This is really interesting.
all right.
So yeah,
So-
alligator cuspid is definitely on the market.
Okay.
So here's the other thing too, is that parts of that mortuary are supposed to kind of be a little extra lethal compared to what you would normally have
we
at the
got
start of an
lucky.
adventure. But
We got
you
very
through
lucky.
It, so, yeah.
Yeah.
But it just as well worked out that one of the offered encounters for the city was 2 Ettercaps in a house that's run by a Darkweaver, and I thought that would be a good
Mhm.
job for you
Yeah.
to do based on the parameters that you set. And I wasn't
Yep.
sure if it was going to work out this way, but it did, and now it's revealed, and I think it's going to be fun here. So now you wanted to learn a little bit more about what's going on with you. Well, you know at least a new thing.
Yep.
Oh God, help us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It maybe partly explains what happened to you.
Partially.
Although it's a little different because the first kneecap's body is still there.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote
Yeah.
that we actually keep the body.
I mean,
I'm not sure we're gonna keep them.
Good luck with that.
Why?
I mean, or at
Let's
least
talk about
from-
that next session
yeah.
in character.
All right. So I
Yeah.
would encourage all of you, it may not happen unless you all start getting really reckless, but I want to encourage you all to kind of consider 3 different versions of your character that you might go between if you die otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Got
and
it.
also consider some of the different solutions to problems that might present themselves if you can't die. So, just
Yeah.
anyway, I think that's where we will leave it then for tonight, and we will return next week. I hope for everyone.
Yeah.
Yep,
For
I-
more-
I believe I'm all set for next week.
Yeah, for
Yep.
more interplanar adventures on so many levels.
Yay.
So
many
many
levels.
levels.